Chapter 2803. It was said that the universe's second generations couldn't be provoked. These words were not false. Putting everyone else aside, just Hua Jianrou and the others alone would be enough for the family to deploy dozens of supremacies and overlords. What kind of energy was this? Yi Zichen didn't even dare to imagine such a scene. It was too extravagant. Baiyu seemed to be hesitating. Hua Jianrou raised her hand and patted her shoulder. You have to tell me. Baiyu, we aren't the ones stirring up trouble. The ancestral dragon race is bullying us. Hua Jianrou said seriously. The points that we worked so hard to obtain were snatched away by that bastard. He even threatened us. Look at his eyes, it seems like he wants to kill us. We have to resist. Yes, resist. Meng Luo wrinkled her nose and exited the virtual network. I've already said it. The family feels that 30 supremacies might not be enough to fight against the ancestral dragon tribe. They said that they will send 45 supremacies and 200 country lords. If it's not enough, they will send more. Yi Zichen. That's what I said. The flame rat also raised his hand and said, everyone in my family is using it now. My mother said that the ancestral dragon clan is bullying us and we can't let them do as they please. My clan has 15 venerables and 70 lords. Yi Zichen. Then, Baiyu frowned. Before he could say anything, Meng Luo blinked. Hey big sister Baiyu, my father just told me that Uncle Fire God has already sent people out. It seems that your mother brought people here personally. 1/3 of the Fire God races Venerable and Monarch are here. Isn't there going to be 60 to 70 supremacies? That's too many. Baiyu cried out. Yi Zichen. 1/3 of them are 60 to 70 sovereigns. What the hell were these families doing? To tell the truth, Yi Zichen was truly flabbergasted. Little did he know, Winnie and Aylan's situation wasn't much different. The power of the second generation. How terrifying. Immortals. Yi Zichen coughed. Wouldn't having so many overlord sovereigns affect your family's internal situation? We are going to war now. Didn't they say that the deployment of supremacies and overlords would affect the overall situation? Don't worry, they are our spies. Hua Jianrou shrugged. Ha! Spies. Yeah. Meng Luo blinked with a smile and said, our families have been secretly nurturing talents since tens of thousands of years ago. Back then, the human race was about to change. The 4 of us discussed it in secret. At that time, we were not even born. Our parents weren't even born yet, right, Sister Hua? Baiyu's father seems to be here already. Hua Jianrou muttered. It was a long time ago anyway. Meng Luo said with a smile. These people were not in the open. Their departure won't affect the situation at all. It's just that part of them might be exposed this time. A part? Yeah, that's not all. Go to hell. So what if he was a galactic lord? Now that their Milky Way galaxy had 10-odd sovereigns, Yi Zichen felt pretty amazing. Now that he thought about it, he didn't even have as many spies as the other party. So many of you are here to attack the ancestral dragon clan? Yi Zichen frowned. Ding dong. Yi Zi, your sister is video calling you. At that moment, Bailey came out and whispered to Yi Zichen's shoulder. Which sister? The hot-tempered big sister. Hurry up and accept. Hot-tempered. It was definitely Venerable Spirit Phoenix. The video call was accepted. The video showed the Spirit Phoenix waving towards Yi Zichen. The background of the video seemed to be Wen Li's temporary imperial residence. Lil bro, can you see big sister? I'm with your big sister Wen Li right now. As soon as she finished speaking, a breathtakingly beautiful woman walked over to Venerable Spirit Phoenix's side. Lord Yi. Big sister Wen Li, big sister Spirit Phoenix. Yi Zichen nodded. Just now. The ancestral dragon clan broke the rules, right? Wen Li squinted her eyes and said softly. I heard your points were taken away by the ancestral dragon clan? How did you guys know? It hasn't even been 5 minutes. Why does it seem like the entire universe knows? Bayu's father contacted me, Wenli replied. Then she looked towards Bayu. Very domineering. You have the demeanor of your father, the fire god. Hearing Wenli's praise, Bayu lowered his head with a blush. The reason we're calling you right now is to ask you guys. The ancestral dragon clan did indeed take your points, right? They stole your points without you knowing, and they refused to admit it. Wenli asked. Yes. Meng Luo nodded. Is there any proof? She didn't expect Wenli to ask for proof as well. Then, Ling Feng twitched her mouth. What proof do I need? I've disliked the ancestral dragon clan for a long time. I'll just send people to get rid of them. They're the ones who chased me out the last time I went to the ancestral dragon clan. Otherwise, I'll just tear down their divine temple. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. From Big Sister Ling Feng's tone, it seems like she caused quite a bit of trouble in the ancestral dragon clan as well. The ancestral dragon clan has a special status. They can't act recklessly. Wenli glanced at Ling Feng, then turned towards Yi Zichen and company. I don't need actual proof. I just need you guys to confirm whether or not there is, and whether or not you saw it with your own eyes. I saw it. Bayu fiercely looked up. I control my family's divine flame. Even when passing through a black hole, the flame can sense its surroundings. My flame clearly reported to me that the people of the ancestral dragon clan had swapped Ye's crystal. When they heard Bayu's reply, everyone in the cabin looked at her. No wonder she was so sure at that time. Even Yi Zichen didn't know, but she knew it very well. Divine flame. As expected of a divine flame. Very good. Since Bayu can confirm it, then the evidence is enough. Wenli pursed her lips and laughed. In a while, our virtual world corporation will send 200 supremacies to the ancestral dragon tribe. Your brother Lan Di will also send 150. Both our families will also bring 2,000 lords to the ancestral dragon tribe. Huh? Brother, our Milky Way isn't bad either. I'll send some people over later. Not too many, 30 to 50 supremacies shouldn't be a problem. Don't think that our Milky Way isn't good enough. Venerable Spirit Phoenix consoled. Ha! Yi Zichen was even more confused. Wait, aren't we going to war with the Tsangyue galaxy? You guys. We won't be fighting for a while, muttered Wenli. We just received some news, so we need to confirm it. What's more, the people we're sending over won't affect the current situation at all. You guys are secretly training them as well? That's right. Wenli's reply was non-committal. Anyway, Nine Faces will add you to the virtual network's contact details in a bit. She'll talk to you later. Your big sister Spirit Phoenix and I have some business to take care of, so that's it for now. Just as the screen was about to close, Wenli suddenly spoke up. Remember, if we don't cause trouble, we won't be afraid of trouble. If the ancestral dragon clan bullies us, then we'll just go all out and fight them. Don't be afraid. The person behind this team of yours can go against the entire universe. Chapter 2804. The video ended. Yi Zichen's head buzzed as he stood in the cabin. What's going on? The situation changed. Didn't they start a war with the Tsangyue galaxy not long ago? Wenli actually said that they wouldn't be able to start a war in the near future, and that they were going to fight the ancestral dragon clan, the Virtual World Corporation and the Universe Union Bank. 350 sovereigns, 2,000 country lords. The 4 clans of planet Een sent nearly 150 sovereigns and a few hundred country lords. Just because Zhu Yunshi stole the crystals? Or perhaps it could be said that he had threatened Bayu, to the point where a single hair on one part would affect the entire body. Everyone would enter the battle. Oh my god, Leader Wenli is so domineering. Coco looked at Meng Luo and the others in the cabin in shock. Our team can actually go against the entire universe? Really? What kind of background do you guys have? Not sure. Hua Jinro shook her head. Don't know. The Flame Rat shrugged. Don't know. Bayu shrugged. Don't know. Meng Luo started to pretend to be her favorite naive self. From their answers, it was clear that the 4 clans had great powers behind them. What's more, it definitely wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. Or rather, people would consider the powers behind them. But it was far more powerful than anyone could imagine. What's more, from Leader Wenli's words, it was clear that the 4 clans of planet Een were on the same side as the Virtual World Corporation. This could be seen from the fact that Vulcan had contacted Wenli as soon as something had happened. All of the major powers were in contact with each other. Although Fire God said that he was going to guard the outer space, Fire God was more inclined towards the Virtual World Corporation. Actually, you guys really don't need to consider us, Hua Jianro smiled. We're definitely on Yi Zi's side. What's more, Leader Wenli just said that our team has the power to fight against the universe, but that doesn't mean we can win against the entire universe. What's more, it can be seen from the people we sent just now that the big shots are still the 2 giants. That's right, our family can't compare to the giants. Bai Yu also nodded with a smile. Look at this, is this even human speech? Our family can't compare to the 8 giants of the universe. Everyone knew that the 8 giants represented the 8 powers of the universe. They were also one of the 8 most powerful organizations in the universe. Even if it was a first-rate family, the gap between them and the giants was like the distance between heaven and earth. This could be seen from the attachment of the family. Depending on a first-tier family was a second-tier family, but depending on a first-tier family was a first-tier family. It was clear who was superior. However, to Yi Zichen's surprise, he really hadn't expected to cause such a huge commotion. It felt like the target of the crusade had changed in an instant. Could it be that the Virtual World Corporation had long wanted to make a move on the Ancestral Dragon Clan? He just couldn't find a suitable reason. Now that the Ancestral Dragon Clan had intentionally broken the rules, it was exactly what the Virtual World Corporation wanted. Then, the 4 great clans followed suit and sent their troop. Wenli also came along to join in the fun. Although she had addressed Zhu Ying as big sister before, it seemed like their relationship wasn't very harmonious. If they really got along, she would not go to the extent of coming to the Virtual World Corporation to scam people. Yi Zi, your sister has sent you a friend request, Bailey reported. Who? Verify the information. Your sister is here. I don't know who she is. It's probably the 9-faced hegemon. His consciousness entered the virtual network and added friends. Not long after, he received a video call. As expected, there were no surprises on the screen. It was the 9-faced hegemon. Lil Yizi. The lowly 9-faced hegemon waved her hand with a smile. In the video call, she tilted her head and looked around, as if she was looking at everyone in the cabin. You're all here. Greetings, 9-faced hegemon. The people in the cabin greeted her. The 9-faced hegemon waved her hand with a smile. You don't need all this with me. Big Sister Wenli told me to contact you, you know that, right? I know. Yi Zichen nodded. Now we're out. I have to go to the Universe Union Bank first and meet up with their hegemon. Then, we'll head to the Ancestral Dragon Clan's territory together. Big Sister 9-faced is coming as well? Hee, of course I'm coming. They won't be afraid unless someone tough comes. What's more, if I don't come, who's going to take care of these 200 sovereigns? The 9-faced hegemon giggled. I miss you too. I want to see you again. F***ck. The 9-faced hegemon had arrived in person. From what she said, the Universe Union Bank had also sent a hegemon to lead the team. They were definitely no ordinary people. Someone who could command over 100 sovereigns and make them obey willingly had to have a high position in the Universe Union Bank. Big Sister, can I ask something? Go on. Are we declaring war on the Ancestral Dragon Clan? Declaring war? I didn't receive any news about that. The 9-faced hegemon was stunned. Did Big Sister Wunli tell you that we're declaring war on the ancestral dragon clan? Not really, Yi Zichen frowned. Big Sister Wunli said that we don't need to be afraid of trouble if we don't cause trouble. She said that the person behind our team is capable of going against the entire universe. Ah, that's it? Big Sister Wunli isn't wrong, the nine-faced Hegemon shrugged. The nine-faced overlord shrugged. Isn't your team composed of Planet Yin's 4 ancestors? Hegemon, please don't say that. Even Hua Jianro blushed when she heard that. That's our slogan when we were young. Haha, that's a very vivid description, the nine-faced Hegemon laughed. The nine-faced overlord laughed out loud. Aren't the few of you the 4 ancestors? Whoever bumps into you will be in deep trouble. Now that you're playing with Yeezy, you're the 5 ancestors of the universe. Anyone who bumps into you will be in big trouble. This time, the unlucky ones are the ancestral dragon clan. Yi Zichen was confused. What did that have to do with him? Why did he end up in this group as well? Big Sister, then what are we going to do? It's like this. We're going to build a few space stations around the ancestral dragon clan. The nine-faced Hegemon didn't hide anything. The ancestral dragon clan has always been a thorn in the side of the human race. The 8 heads of the universe have already voted on this operation at the octagonal table and unanimously approved it. Unanimously. This sort of scene was rather rare. Everyone knew that the human race was split into 3 factions. The fact that they could all agree to this operation meant that the ancestral dragon clan's influence on the human race was severe. We didn't have an excuse before, but now we have one. Nine-faced Hegemon laughed. This is all thanks to Baiyu. You found such a great opportunity. But Zhuing, I don't think you're that stupid. Either way, the timing is perfect. We have enough of an excuse to head towards them. We'll be in place in about 2 years. As for you guys, you have a mission as well. What mission? It's to cause trouble in the ancestral dragon clan and cause them to break the rules. To put it simply, you guys can play around as much as you want. If anything goes wrong, we'll beat them up. If nothing goes wrong, then they'll just endure it. Since you guys are the ones enjoying it, don't worry. Do whatever we want. Meng Luo's eyes lit up. Don't worry, just cause trouble. Didn't Big Sister Wunli say that you guys have a power that can go against the universe behind you? What's there to be afraid of? Nine-faced Hegemon's eyes also revealed a devilish glint. Do it. Chapter 2805. This was a good job. To put it bluntly, he just had to pretend in the ancestral dragon clan. Whoever dared to move would be beaten up. That's pretty much what it meant. Yi Zichen reckoned that there shouldn't be any problems with his understanding. Sister Nine Faces. I'm here, my dear little brother Galactic Lord. The nine-faced Hegemon seemed to enjoy hearing Yi Zichen call her big sister, as if she felt a great sense of accomplishment. She remembered when they first met. When she heard Yi Zichen call her senior and big sister, she was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. Sis, are we going to start now? Act, the nine-faced overlord said with a straight face. Aren't you at the ancestral dragon tribe now? You bully the men and take women by force. You're arrogant and despotic. You can do whatever you want. But you guys aren't 2 years old. Don't panic, ow. The nine-faced overlord in the video widened his eyes. I'm guessing that Zhuing already knows about this. She'll definitely know that we've already sent out our troop. She's in the wrong, you know? She wouldn't dare to do anything to you. On the other hand, if you were to throw a tantrum, she would have to endure it. If she really dares to touch you, our human race will really take care of her. Back then, your master could beat her to the point that she didn't dare to leave the ancestral dragon tribe's black hole for 3,000 years. Now, your sister Wunli and brother Lan Di can beat her to the point that she can't retaliate. She can't defeat sister Wunli and brother Lan Di? Are you kidding me? How could she do that? The nine-faced overlord looked as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. There are some things that I can't tell you too much about. The current Sister Wan Li and the leader of the Blue Emperor have long surpassed the Milky Way master of the past. If he wanted to take care of Zhu Ying, it would be a piece of cake. Let's not talk about anything else. The fire god beat her up. Forget it, the fire god thinks too highly of her. Even your big sister Nine-Face, would have no problem taking him on. Even the nine-faced hegemon could give Zhu Ying a 46. Wasn't Zhu Ying a supreme being? Wasn't the difference between a peak overlord and a supreme being like the difference between heaven and earth? How could something like this happen? Moreover, the master of the Milky Way was able to deal with Zhu Ying back then, but after so many years, could it be that Zhu Ying's strength had not changed at all? Sister, the ancestral dragon clan is very powerful. Last time, during my trial, they threw a black hole into the dark universe. Moreover, they created many camps that could provide many experts. I know. The nine-faced overlord laughed. This is also the reason why we humans have never touched them. It's because they are managers, and they have some abilities and authority that humans do not have. But this time, it's different. The human race has the strength, and Sister Wan Li has found out some important things. Song Yu has also agreed not to make any big moves in the short term. Now, the big shots and the supreme beings are holding an octagonal table conference, and the human race is stable. Moreover, they were in the wrong first. They broke the rules they set, so they can't blame us for breaking the rules. The nine-faced overlord continued after he finished speaking. Being able to monitor the ancestral dragon clan has been our human race's wish for tens of thousands of years. Now we finally have an opportunity. Just go ahead and cause trouble. If anyone really bullies you, Big Sister will come and avenge you. That's it. I'm hanging up. The scene stopped abruptly. Everyone instinctively looked towards Yi Zichen. This video call had exposed too much information. The ancestral dragon clan did not dare to touch them. There was a temporary peace within the human race. Both sides decided not to go to war for now. Yi Zi, your sister sent you a message again. What news? A voice message. Do you want to play it publicly? Play it. Right, I forgot to tell you something just now. Your points are very important. I'll send you an exchange code in a bit, so you can go to the ancestral dragon clan's Heaven and Earth Trading Company to exchange for it. The more points you have, the more invincible you'll be in the ancestral dragon clan. Simply put, points are equivalent to status. Remember, don't waste points when you don't have to. Of course, it's not absolute, but it's up to you. Finally, Yeezy, Big Sister loves you. The first few messages were normal, but what the hell was with the last one? Yi Zichen's expression darkened. Then he saw Xia Kiki glare at him threateningly. No, nine-faced overlord has nothing to do with me. Love or not? Xia Kiki shrugged. Susu said that even if you do, it doesn't matter. We won't exclude anyone. In any case, we already have so many. One or two more won't make a difference. With that, she intentionally glanced at Bai Yu. The meaning of his words was clear and obvious. Bai Yu blushed, then pursed his lips and lowered his head. All of a sudden, the entire cabin was filled with a charming atmosphere. Ahem. Yi Zichen coughed. Let's talk about points. We only have 12 points right now. Nine-faced overlord said that he left some for us. Should we go now? We can go, but who knows where it is? Hua Jianro pointed outside the cabin. We seem to be in a desert. We've never been to the ancestral dragon clan, so we don't know how big this place is. That Zhu Yunshi should be the leader, but he ran away out of guilt. We can't just run around randomly right now. That's right. Su Lu crossed her arms and sat on the sofa. I think we should wait here for a bit. Didn't Nine-Faced Overlord say that Zhu Ying should know about that? Then she will definitely send someone to get us. At that moment, in the judgment hall, Zhu Yunshi knelt on the ground with thumb-sized bloody holes all over his body. Idiot! Zhu Ying, who stood in front of him, slapped him again. Do you know what you're doing? Sire, Didn't you tell me to take back their points no matter what? Zhu Yunshi knelt on the ground and trembled. This subordinate did as you said and switched their point. You're still talking back. Boom! Countless vines appeared from the ground and instantly pierced through Zhu Yunshi's body. I told you to take them back. I'm not telling you to rob, I'm telling you to steal. Take them back? You can take them to the casino, you can take them to the lottery, you can take them to spend money. You have all sorts of ways to get them back, but what did you do? I switched their points and someone found out. Zhu Ying trembled in anger. Why did I raise an idiot like you? Yi Zichen slapped him again. Zhu Yunshi's head spun a few times. Sire, they just found out. It's not like they have any proof, Zhu Yunshi said anxiously. Zhu Yunshi said anxiously, it's actually nothing much. They're just suffering in silence. What else can they do? This is the ancestral dragon clan, would they dare to attack us? You think they wouldn't dare? The moment Zhu Ying's words landed, a silhouette appeared in the hall. Judge. Speak. I've just received news. From the human race's planet Een, the Virtual World Corporation's main planet and the Universe Union Bank's main planet, a total of 400 knights and 2,900 country lords have been dispatched. Amongst them, 300 of them are going through space towards our ancestral dragon clan. The other 100 are going with the country lords, with the Virtual World Corporation's nine-faced overlord as the leader. They seem to be gathering in 3 different directions. Immediately, the kneeling Zhu Yunshi's face turned ashen. This. All right, I understand. You can leave. Zhu Ying waved his hand lightly. Zhu Yunshi's expression grew more and more fearful. Sire, Did you hear that? They've already sent out their troops. They're all knights and country lords. What do you think a country lord is? You even dared to bully Fire God's daughter and come to me to complain. Zhu Yunshi, you should be thankful that Fire God's daughter wants to kill you personally, otherwise you'd be dead by now. Zhu Ying pointed at Zhu Yunshi's head and roared. Scram! Zhu Yunshi scrambled away. Zhu Ying squinted his eyes and muttered. Zhu Yunji, your subordinate is here. Look after Zhu Yunshi, don't let him escape. But don't let him die at the hands of Fire God's daughter. Yes. Also, find someone to receive them. Do we need to compensate them? No. Zhu Ying shook his head. If we compensate them, wouldn't it mean that we're the ones who took the points? Just bring them into the clan, we don't care about anything else. Yes. Go do it. Waving his hand, Zhu Ying watched as Zhu Yunji disappeared from the room and sat down. Wenli, you really are my good sister. Chapter 2806. The cabin door was locked. The warship was parked in the wilderness. None of the people in the cabin dared to wander around outside. Meng Luo wanted to go out. She looked like a little girl, but she seemed to have a heart that yearned for adventure. It didn't matter if she was a stranger or not. She wanted to go out and see. To put it nicely, she wanted to adventure. Or perhaps it really was because she'd been locked up on planet Een for too long that she wanted to see more of the unknown. But she was caught. Just as she was about to sneak out, Yi Zichen grabbed her by the clothes, then closed the cabin door to prevent any accidents from happening. At the same time, he also prevented the little girl's adventurous spirit from running around. Meng Luo was very depressed after being caught. She lowered her head and sat on the sofa sulkily. From time to time, she glanced outside with a yearning look in her eyes. Don't look outside. Yi Zichen, who'd been staring at Meng Luo, walked up and patted her head. Do you know what's out there? Just run. Adventure is about not knowing anything. Danger and opportunity coexist for it to be interesting, Meng Luo retorted. Meng Luo raised her head and retorted, if I knew everything, then what kind of adventure would it be? Isn't life important? Yi Zichen smiled wryly. It is. Meng Luo replied confidently. But we humans need to have an adventurous spirit in order to become peerless experts. Otherwise, think about it. When those secret realms first appear, if we don't take risks, then how will we obtain the treasures inside? Do you think this place looks like a secret realm? When she heard Meng Luo's fallacious reasoning, even Hua Jianrou walked up speechlessly. It's just a desert. You can't just look at things on the surface, Meng Luo replied seriously. Meng Luo answered seriously, think about it. Which of the human race's mystic realms can be recognized at a glance? They are all in mysterious space, or on uninhabited planets, or around black holes. I think there will be treasures in this desert. We can really sob. Let's eat some snacks. Hua Jianrou covered Meng Luo's mouth. Let's talk about adventure later. Meng Luo, don't throw a tantrum like a child. Now that we are in the ancestral dragon clan, even if we really want to take the risk, we need to have a basic understanding of this place. This desert was stopped by that scum, Zhu Yunshi. That bastard, who knows where he'll land us? What if we encounter demonic beasts when we go out? Hua Jianrou frowned and comforted him softly. If we die now, we might fall into the ancestral dragon clan's trap. They can say that we accidentally walked into some forbidden area. Little did they know that those wild beasts might have been released by them. Whoa, I'll give you a like. Yi Zichen raised his thumb with a smile when he heard Hua Jianrou's explanation. You really think the same way as me? Right now, the desert looked ordinary, and there were no signs of demonic beast activity. But the more it was like this, the more uneasy he felt. Who knew if that Zhu Ying would do something in the dark? The ancestral dragon race would have a sufficient excuse if they were to go down and get killed. So, Yi Zichen intentionally locked all the cabin doors. It was also to prevent those things from happening. All right. Meng Luo hesitated for a while before letting out a sigh. She was not an absolutely willful child. She just liked adventures and wanted to go out and have a look. Let's see what it's like outside. However, since Hua Jianrou and the others had already reached this point, she could not continue to persist. Don't be depressed. There will be plenty of opportunities for you to go on adventures in the future. Don't worry, I'll definitely take you on adventures in the future. You always say that. Meng Luo twitched her mouth, as if she didn't really believe Yi Zichen's words. At that time, they said that they wanted to go to the campsite for an adventure, but changed their minds halfway through. Ha ha ha, you little brat. Don't worry, I definitely won't let you be bored. Humph. Meng Luo wrinkled her nose and said nothing else. However, this ancestral dragon clan does not seem to be small. At this moment, Bai Yu walked over. Even with my cosmic energy, I can't see the end of this desert. I can't see it either. Winnie came up. This desert seems to have no end. No matter how far I go, it's just a desert. You can't see it either? Yi Zichen frowned. It was fine if it was Bai Yu, since she was a commander level, and her strength was at the beginner level. Winnie, on the other hand, was different. Her Duke-level cosmic energy scan could cover almost half a solar system. She couldn't even see the end of the desert. Just how big is this desert? Or rather, just how big is the ancestral dragon clan? We made the right decision not to go out, Su Yan said softly. I used my life energy to sense it just now. The aura here doesn't seem to be the aura of a normal life form. There's a very strange feeling inside that I can't describe. There must be treasures inside. Meng Luo pursed her lips. Have your ass, Hua Jianrou patted Meng Luo. Don't think about those nonsensical things anymore. Even if there really is treasure inside, we can't go out. I'm just saying. Meng Luo replied angrily, then sat back down. His eyes were fixed on the depths of the desert, and his gaze was filled with determination. There must be. I wonder what the ancestral dragon clan is doing. Why hasn't anyone come to pick us up yet? Hua Jianrou frowned and looked outside the cabin. We've been here for 3 hours. To be precise, it's 3 hours, 13 minutes, and 27 seconds. Belle replied. Why aren't they here yet? Does the ancestral dragon clan want us to die in the desert? Hua Jianrou's tone was a little indignant. It looks like it's going to get dark. Yeah, it's dark. The flame rat raised its eyebrows. Aren't we in the space inside the black hole? There's actually a sun here. Who knows? Hua Jianrou was not too interested in these things. I want to leave this place as soon as possible. Don't you think this place gives off a bad vibe? There are treasures inside. Meng Luo shouted. Yes, yes, yes. Don't mention treasures. Hua Jianrou looked helpless. Now it's, as someone's coming. Before he could finish his sentence, everyone looked at the void outside the cabin. A strong figure charged towards them. Be careful. This is the first person we met after our conflict with the ancestral dragon clan. Be careful. There's no harm. Chapter 2807. Everyone nodded. Everyone stood in the cabin. Even when they saw someone arrive, they did not open the cabin door. Approximately a few minutes later, that live figure arrived in front of them. At that moment, everyone noticed that he did not fly over, but stood on a longsword. He wore a white robe and a longsword. Just like an ancient sword immortal. Zhu Yunshi. He still dares to come. Hua Jianrou glared and pointed at the person outside the cabin with a frown. Why did he come back? The flame rat muttered. This Zhu Yunshi left them here not long ago, yet he returned after a few hours. Could he be here to apologize? Bai Yu muttered. The nine-faced overlord mentioned that the ancestral dragon clan would receive news of their attack soon. Now that Zhu Yunshi has returned, could he be here to apologize? Return the points. TSK, we won't accept an apology. Hua Jianrou glared. We already have a grudge with him, how can an apology solve it? What's more, if he truly apologizes and returns the points, should we kill him or not? That's true. The flame rat nodded. My mother told me about the universe's karma theory. If the ancestral dragon clan doesn't return the points to us, then all of us have karma. That way we can deal with that Zhu Yunshi together. But if he returns the points and apologizes, then the karma will end. Then, only Bai Yu Jie's oath will mean that we cannot interfere. Yeah, Hua Jianrou nodded seriously. She had also heard this from her father. So, we definitely cannot accept his apology. Tell him to CK off. He's standing on a flying sword, what's there to be arrogant about? Hua Jianrou shouted. At the same time, the man on the flying sword slowly landed on the ground, then bowed towards Yi Zichen and company in the cabin to greet them. Your Majesty Yi, I am your guide to the ancestral dragon clan. Please leave the cabin and follow me to the ancestral dragon clan's residence. The man's tone was calm. He was completely different from the previous Zhu Yunshi. When Hua Jianrou heard this, she was so angry that she almost exploded. Not long ago, she had stolen their stone, and now she was acting as if nothing had happened. Did they really think that their memories had deteriorated? Did they really think that they had forgotten everything after such a short while? Get lost. Let me tell you, we are enemies now. Just wait for your death. Hua Jianrou transmitted angrily. The pink-faced young man outside was stunned for a while, and then he smiled as if he had recovered from his shock. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Zhu Yunsan. I heard that you guys had some conflict with Zhu Yunshi, but I'm not him. Do you think we're retarded? Hua Jianrou frowned. In just 3 hours, you've become Zhu Yunsan. Doesn't that mean there's still Zhu Yunqi and Zhu Yunba? Are you all twins? Yes. Zhu Yunsan did not comment on Hua Jianrou's words. We have a total of 10 brothers, all of whom were created by Lord Adjudicator Zhu Ying. I am the third oldest, and the 7 and 8 that you mentioned do indeed exist. What the hell? Hua Jianrou was stunned for a moment, then tilted her head towards Yi Zichen. Do you believe that this person said that they are twins? I think so, Su Yan pursed her lips. This person's life aura is different from the previous ones. His aura and appearance can be changed, but his life aura cannot be hidden. He is indeed not the same person. But they are from the same brood. Meng Luo walked out with a look of disdain. A brood of bastards. AI, didn't you guys pay attention to what he said? He just said that the 10 brothers were created by Zhu Ying. Created? The flame rat said with a serious expression. The ancestral dragon clan is able to create country lord level experts, and they seem to do it in batches. What's so strange about that? Xia Kiki muttered. Didn't we have a camp before as well? They might have been produced by the camp, that's why he said they were created. But they have intelligence, the flame rat muttered as he pointed at the person outside. The flame rat pointed at the person outside and whispered, "Look, he has the ability to think independently. The battleships that were born in our camp were all instilled with fixed thinking. It might be high-quality goods," Xia Kiki said. Everyone nodded lightly, feeling that such a statement was not impossible. But if that was really the case, then the ancestral dragon clan's internal strength was not simple. If they really wanted to start a war with them, they would have to think about it. Perhaps their top fighting strength was insufficient. It was just as the nine-faced overlord had said. Even Zhu Ying was weaker than Winnie and Blue Emperor. Even the nine-faced overlord would have a 40 to 60 chance of winning against Zhu Ying. But they had the production chain. They could create country lords, kings, dukes, and even sovereigns in batches. If these people all had the ability to think independently, then it would be very difficult to attack the ancestral dragon clan. This was because it took a long time for the human race to produce a single sovereign, but the ancestral dragon clan could produce many of them every day. Even if it was a war of attrition, the human race might not be able to match the ancestral dragon clan. The human race had a lot of people, but the ancestral dragon clan had a lot as well. If the production chain produced 10 sovereigns in a day and they self-destructed, the human universe would be able to deal with them. "Yizi, should we go?" While everyone was discussing, Baiyu softly asked. Yes, Yi Zichen considered for a moment. No matter what this person's relationship with Zhu Yushur is, the ancestral dragon clan sent him to be our guide, so we can't waste time here. If we refuse, will the ancestral dragon clan make an issue out of it and say that they had nothing to do with us rejecting their guidance? Also, this Zhu Yushur. It doesn't seem like he's here to silence us. Like we said, it's getting dark, and the atmosphere here is very strange. How about we just go with him? You're the captain, so we'll listen to you, Hua Jianro smiled. You're the captain, so we'll listen to you, Hua Jianro smiled. Wow, Big Sister Hua actually admitted that the great god is the captain. How strange. Meng Luo was shocked. I just don't want to be the scapegoat, Hua Jianro shrugged. Also, there's nothing good about being the captain. There are so many things, and I have to think about them. I'll just be a small team member, isn't that good? Liar. Meng Luo twitched her mouth. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. What could I be thinking? Hua Jianro paused. See, I was right. Meng Luo wrinkled her nose. Let me tell you, my eyes are very powerful. Don't say that. Hua Jianro frowned. All right, stop messing around, Yi Zichen frowned. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and muttered when he saw the commotion in the cabin. Open the cabin, let's go with him. Chapter 2808. Outside the cabin. Seeing the cabin open, Zhu Yunsan sheathed his sword and stood far away. As expected, Winnie and Alan walked out first. After scanning the surroundings with his cosmic energy, he returned to Yi Zichen's side and locked onto Zhu Yunsan to monitor his every move. What was surprising was that Zhu Yisan was not a sovereign but a king-ranked martial artist. His realm was also high. 3rd layer of king level. Even so, Zhu Yunsan was still stronger than Winnie and Alan. It was very impolite for a junior to use his aura to lock onto a senior. It was just that the current situation was special. The people they needed to protect were the Galactic Lords. He believed that the ancestral dragon race also knew the status and importance of the Milky Way overlords in the universe. If they could understand this and not harbor any ulterior motives, they would not fuss over this. Sure enough, Zhu Yinsan didn't say anything after sensing the cosmic energy probe. He glanced at Winnie and Alan, then smiled, cupped his hands, and walked up to Yi Zichen. His tone and expression were both grateful. Your Holiness Yi, thank you very much for your trust. You know me. It was Yi Zichen's first time meeting Zhu Yinsan, so he was a bit surprised that Zhu Yinsan recognized him. Your Holiness Yi Qingyu, your question is not up to standard. How many people in the human universe wouldn't know that you're the Milky Way Lord? At that time, you inherited the new Milky Way with your identity as the reincarnation of the Milky Way Master. This caused an uproar in the human universe. But not many people believe that I am the Master of the Galaxy. Yi Zichen smiled wryly. Yi Zichen had indeed taken the stage as the reincarnation of the Lord of the Milky Way, but then he discovered that practically all the other experts seemed to know his identity was fake. They treated him like a student of the Master of the Galaxy. None of the experts thought that he was the Master of the Galaxy. Those who might believe Yi Zichen was the Master of the Galaxy were relatively weak. They weren't well informed about the universe. Of course, the Milky Way Master is still alive. How could he reincarnate? Zhu Yinsan replied with a smile. In an instant, the expressions of the people in the group turned cold. He's still alive? Your ancestral dragon race knows the location of the Milky Way Master? Yi Zichen asked. I do not know. Zhu Yinsan smiled bitterly. Then why did you? Lord Yi might not know about the uniqueness of our ancestral dragon clan. Zhu Yuzhen smiled. Our ancestral dragon clan has a record of anyone who dies in the universe. We also have a record of anyone's birth. For example, you were born on Earth. At that time, the Milky Way had yet to enter the human race universe. Actually, our ancestral dragon race knew about it. Oh? Yi Zichen was shocked. He didn't expect the ancestral dragon race to have such a unique ability that allowed them to know the birth and death of the entire universe. Is this the special skill of a human manager? It was no wonder that the human race wanted to get rid of the ancestral dragon race. The existence of such a race made people feel uneasy. To put it simply, as long as the ancestral dragon clan was around, it was impossible to fake one's death. They can find out if you're dead or alive. This is probably the last convenience of being the manager of the human race. Zhu Yongsen laughed. It's just that this convenience is useless. Our ancestral dragon clan no longer has the right to manage our clan. Back then, when the Milky Way Overlord ruled with us, I might have said too much. It's fine. Zhu Yunshi has already said that. Yi Zichen said. Is that so? Actually, there's nothing to hide. Since everyone in our clan knows about it, and the higher-ups didn't purposely suppress it. It's even recorded in the Elder Cabinet. If you guys are interested and want to know more about our ancestral dragon clan's history, you can go to the Elder Cabinet to look it up, Zhu Yongsen smiled. Oh yeah, Your Majesty. What exactly happened between you and Zhu Yunshi? I remember that he was the one who guided you guys. That brother of yours stole our point crystals. Hua Jianro snorted. Something like that happened? Zhu Yongsan was stunned. You didn't know? I didn't, Zhu Yongsen smiled wryly. Zhu Yuzhen smiled bitterly. Actually, you can tell just by looking at my strength. I'm at the third stage of the king stage, the weakest of our Yun generation. They're already at the peak of the king level, while I'm still at the third stage of the king level. That's why my status is rather low, and I don't have much contact with my brothers. Didn't you just say that you guys were created? Yes, created. Zhu Yongsan didn't deny it. You should have seen Lord Ye's trial, right? Camp. We're actually born pretty much the same as Camp. There are many camps in our ancestral dragon clan, and new clansmen are born every day. All of them have independent thoughts. Yi Zichen frowned. Not all of them, Zhu Yongsan explained as he led the way. Zhu Yunsan explained as he led the way. Many people were born to serve, some to guard. Anyway, our ancestral dragon race is completely different from you humans. We don't give birth to life like you humans do. Everyone comes from a camp. Even the lords like Judgment and Gongzheng were created from the divine hero altar. Oh my god, this place is so weird. Meng Luo exclaimed. Yeah, that's why I said, if you guys are interested, you can go take a look at the Elder Cabinet. Then, you'll see the difference between us and humans. Zhu Yongsen smiled. Then you guys can cultivate, right? Yes, we can, Zhu Yongsen nodded. Zhu Yinsan nodded. We're similar to you humans in this regard. We can absorb cosmic energy to cultivate. However, we can't comprehend the laws of the universe. Those who can comprehend the laws are people with high statuses. We were created by the guard camp, so we do some guard work. If we go to your ancestral dragon clan's residential area, can we take a look at those camps? Sure. Anyone can go to the ancestral dragon tribe's campsite, and everyone who comes here will go there to have a look. However, you can't get too close to it as there are divine guards around the campsite. Even venerables and overlords will be killed instantly if they go there. Zhu Yunsan replied. If Lord Yi wants to see it, you have to be careful. If the divine guards have warned you, do not proceed any further. I have one last question. Yi Zichen asked. Please speak. What are we doing here? Yi Zichen asked in confusion. Can you tell me that? You guys are here to learn. Zhu Yisan smiled. Our ancestral dragon clan's school will open soon. You will join the school as new students. This is your purpose for coming here. Chapter 2809. Cool. They actually came here to go to school. Yi Zichen thought of countless possibilities, but that was the only one he didn't consider. He did think that after they arrived, they would receive various missions and go out to carry out missions in order to obtain mission points or reward. Yet, Zhu Yunsan actually told him that they were going to the ancestral dragon clan school to study. Go to school? I don't want to. Meng Luo was the first to stand up. I don't want to go to school. I've already learned everything I need to learn. Why do you want me to go to school? With that, she ran over to Yi Zichen and shook his arm. Great deity, I want to go back. This must be Lady Meng Luo, the rabbit race's goddess, Zhu Yunsan giggled. Meng Luo's gaze instantly changed. She looked at him threateningly with her bright eyes. I'm not the goddess. Then I might have remembered wrongly. Zhu Yunsan didn't persist and changed the topic with a smile. You can't leave now. After entering the ancestral dragon clan, you can't leave until you graduate. If you are outside the black hole, you can still leave. However, it's not just you. If you choose to leave the trial, then your entire team will have to leave. The mention of the goddess seemed to have a huge effect on Meng Luo. She didn't say anything else, and the innocence on her face disappeared. She merely lowered her head and stared at Zhu Yunsan with her ruby eyes. Yi Zichen looked down at Meng Luo, then patted her hand and shook his head. Meng Luo pursed her lips and returned to Bai Yu's side. However, she noticed that everyone was looking at her. It was as if they were all confused about the goddess. Mr. Zhu Yunsan. Lord Yi, you can just call me Zhu Yunsan or Little San. Zhu Yunsan smiled warmly. Zhu Yinsan smiled warmly. Here, we don't have the concept of having high status like you humans do. I'm just a small guard from the camp. I can't be compared to you guys. Alright, Zhu Yunsan, you should know that my trial is extremely difficult, right? Yi Zichen asked. I know. Zhu Yinsan nodded with a smile. You have a difficulty factor of 512 times. Among all the highnesses, and holy sons and holy maidens that our ancestral dragon tribe has received, your difficulty factor is ranked 3rd in history. If you can graduate successfully, your name will remain on our ancestral dragon tribe's genius list. I don't care about that. The genius ranking was just an empty title that held no meaning at all. Yi Zichen wasn't someone who pursued fame. He believed in actual strength. That was the only way to make people feel at ease. I'm just curious. Tell me that we're here to study. Then, may I ask, how will my degree of difficulty be reflected in school? Is it through examinations? That's right. Lord Yi is right. It's reflected in the exam result. Zhu Yunsan smiled. What are we here to learn? It's to learn everything you can learn in the human race universe. Basic theoretical knowledge, perception of the universe, and the use of laws. If that's the case, why did we come here? We've already learned everything we need to learn. Lord Yi, if I'm not mistaken, you are a general, right? Yes. That's why you came here, Zhu Yunsan said gently. If you want to graduate from our school, the first requirement is to be at the king level. King level. Even Winnie, Alan and company were shocked. That's right. The worst graduates are king level. In other words, the moment you came here, it proved that you are at least a king level expert, Zhu Yunsan replied with a smile. This is also why the adjudicator behind you asked you to come here. Of course, your highnesses and highnesses, being able to become major figures, have enough talent to become king level, but it is not 100%. However, we can make you a king level expert with 100% chance without any obstacles. You don't have to worry about the nightmare of breaking through. All you have to do is study hard and complete the homework the school gives you. Yi Zichen and company were shocked. The ancestral dragon tribe actually has such methods to make people a king-level expert with 100% chance. What's more, becoming a king level is not the final goal. After you graduate, you still have the possibility of becoming a sovereign or above, Zhu Yunsan maintained his smile. We, the ancestral dragon tribe, promised a 50% chance of becoming a sovereign. Compared to you humans, who might not even have 1 in a billion, it is already very high, right? It's actually like that. Hua Jianro moved her lips, while her eyes were filled with shock. Even for her. She enjoyed the best resources of her family. She did not have absolute confidence in becoming a sovereign, because breaking through to the sovereign level required talent, hard work and luck. With their family, they only had a 10% chance of becoming a sovereign at most. But here, it was actually 50%. They believed that their family knew that, which was why they agreed to come here. That means, 5 out of the 10 of us will definitely become sovereigns? The flame rat's eyes were filled with shock. No, the guards are not included, Zhu Yunsan smiled, then looked towards Winnie and Alan. Zhu Yunsan smiled, then looked towards Winnie and Alan. You two should be Lord Ye's guards. You guards have your own jobs, so you won't be attending classes with Lord Yi and company. However, we, the ancestral dragon tribe, promised that you will definitely become a king-level expert before you leave, and will give you a 20% chance of becoming a sovereign. 20%. Winnie opened her eyes wide. It is a bit low, but it's enough. Winnie shook her head. She was not greedy. 20% was already very high for her. Anyway, there are only benefits and no downsides to coming to the ancestral dragon tribe. Over here, as long as you do your studies or guard work perfectly, you can even obtain an ancient creation artifact. The chances were slightly lower back then. But at the very least, you will be able to obtain an ancient god artifact as a reward, Zhu Yunsan replied. Zhu Yunsan answered. You can also use your points to exchange for anything you want here. Anything. Divine artifacts, heavenly divine artifacts, Genesis divine artifacts, rare materials, peerless treasures. Even if you want to exchange for items that have a 100% chance of becoming a venerable, an overlord, or even a supreme being, we can give them to you. Let me put it this way. Back then, the Milky Way Master exchanged for a 100% chance of becoming a sovereign, so every time he reincarnated, he would definitely become a sovereign. This is the promise of the ancestral dragon tribe. This was too exaggerated. Everyone opened their mouths in shock. The more they understood, the more they knew how exaggerated the ancestral dragon tribe's promise was. Even 100% chance of becoming a sovereign. This was the manager of the human race. This was the ancestral dragon tribe. Chapter 28:10. A few hours later, Zhao Xian and company followed behind Zhu Yunsan and arrived in front of a huge glowing spiritual formation. Meng Luo, who had been flying in the air the entire time, complained. She always had a means of transportation, so she had never suffered like this before. Flying in the air for a few hours made her feel like she had flown her entire life away. Fortunately, they were flying. If they had walked, the girl might not have been able to take it. As for why they didn't take the interstellar warship, Zhu Yunsan's answer was that Yi Zichen and company didn't say they wanted to take the warship, so he thought they wanted to experience the scenery of the ancestral dragon clan. Everyone? Scenery. This was King Desert. There wasn't even a single blade of grass, and they were talking about scenery? When Meng Luo said that they wanted to go back and take the warship, Zhu Yunsan told them that they had already traveled more than half of the way, so they could only grit their teeth and fly forward. The journey was endless. Now that they thought about it, the desert was really huge. Their flying efficiency was based on Su Yan and Xia Kik's strength. Even so, they were still at the universe level. They could pass through Earth's oceans in an instant. One could only imagine how far they had flown in the past few hours, and how vast the desert was. We're finally here. Meng Luo seemed to have seen a ray of hope, and her dim eyes shone brightly. That won't do, Hua Jianro said. Didn't you want to explore the desert and search for treasures? If you wanted to explore and search for treasures, it would take much longer than this. I'm not looking anymore. Meng Luo waved her hand as if she was out of breath. This is too tiring. I'll just wait for someone from my clan to give me one. We'll talk about adventuring in the future. Everyone in the group couldn't help but laugh when they heard her reply. She was the one who said she wanted to explore. Yet, she was the one who gave up. As for why she gave up, it was because she couldn't handle the exhaustion. But to be honest, there are treasures in this desert, Zhu Yunsan suddenly spoke up. This desert is our ancestral dragon clan's scavenging area. There are many weapons, armors and other equipment stored here. The trial taker who came here last time found a heavenly god artifact here. Heavenly god artifact. Everyone in the team widened their eyes. That's right. Moreover, it's an auxiliary divine artifact. Zhu Yunsan smiled. Meng Luo, let's go back. Heavenly divine tool, let's go inside and look for it. Hua Jianro raised her eyebrows. Meng Lu hurriedly shook her head like a rattle drum. I'm not going. Even if it's a Genesis artifact, I won't go. I want to enter the city. I need to rest. Meng Luo wrinkled her nose, her eyes determined. You guys can go if you want. I won't be moving anyway. Alright, this is what you said. I'll remember it. Hua Jianro raised her hand and said seriously, Don't say that we didn't take you on an adventure. You chose to give it up yourself. Don't always talk about adventures in the future. We'll talk about it later. Meng Luo was smart enough to leave a way out for herself. You're pretty smart. Amidst the laughter, everyone had already arrived in front of the huge spirit formation. Lord Yi. Zhu Yunsan descended from the sky and spoke to Yi Zichen. Are you guys going to choose to enter the city now? If you enter now, you will need to use points if you want to come back in the future. Our ancestral dragon clan has a total of 72 scavenger zones. This is a universe-level exploration zone, and it requires 100,000 points to enter. Since I am your guide, I need to make this clear to you before I leave. The choice is in your hands. Yi Zichen understood that. It was a bit like when you leave a dungeon, the dungeon would ask you if you wanted to leave or not. Heavenly divine tool. That was rather tempting to Yi Zichen. However, Meng Luo wanted to rest, and they didn't know much about the ancestral dragon clan's scavenger zones. even though 100,000 points seemed to be very precious. Let's go out. We'll come back when we have a chance, Yi Zichen replied with a smile. Zhu Yunsan also nodded with a smile. Then I need to remind you guys that none of you brought any equipment, right? Yi Zichen looked at the others. The ancestral dragon clan's mail clearly stated that they weren't allowed to bring any equipment into the ancestral dragon clan, so he naturally didn't bring anything. As for the others, Lu Erjia, Winnie, and Alan all knew that they wouldn't bring it. I brought it, Meng Luo pursed her lips. Meng Luo pursed her lips and said, the people of my family can keep the equipment with your ancestral dragon tribe when the time comes. It won't affect our trial. That's right, so I'll have to trouble you to hand it over to me. Zhu Yunsan smiled. Give it to you? Yes. When Yi Zichen noticed everyone's expressions, they didn't really trust the ancestral dragon clan's integrity after Zhu Yunsan took away their point crystals. Zhu Yunsan also understood this, so he shrugged with a smile. Everyone, please believe me. Hand over the equipment now, and I will take you to the storage area to get a certificate. If you bring your equipment in, the ancestral dragon clan's inspection team will confiscate it. We won't give it back even if we leave. I feel sorry that Zhu Yunsan took away your point stones, but I definitely won't do that. Don't worry, I'm a very honest person. The others all looked towards Yi Zichen. Give it to us, Yi Zichen nodded. Yi Zichen nodded. Let's not break other people's rules in case they slander us. Also, Nine-Faced Sis and the others. There won't be a problem. Bai Yu and company took off their equipment, which shone with a golden light. Divine artifacts. Primordial divine artifacts. Regardless of whether it was Bai Yu, Hua Jianrou, or the Flame Rat, all of their equipment was at least of the divine artifact level, causing Zhao Xian's heart to race. Look, comparisons really are odious. How are all their divine artifacts? They're all yours. Hua Jianrou took off her last wrist guard and shrugged. I'm telling you, don't even think about running. If you do, then you'll be in big trouble. Don't worry, I won't. Zhu Yunsan didn't reveal any greed as he looked at the several tens of divine artifacts in front of him. Then, he looked towards Meng Luo. Miss Meng Luo, you. Meng Luo still hadn't taken out her equipment. Meng Luo, give it to him, Yi Zichen indicated. Meng Luo bit her lips and muttered after a moment of hesitation. I have a lot of equipment. How much can it be? We gave him all our equipment, Hua Jianrou comforted. Just take it out. Why can't I tell? You're so greedy, are you afraid of losing your equipment? If you lose it, then count it on me. I'll get my dad to go to the secret realm and get some for you. No. Alright, then I'll take it. Meng Luo rubbed her head. I'm not afraid of losing it, I'm just afraid that he won't be able to take it. Then, the sound of a cockroach clattering could be heard. The world turned silent. Chapter 28:11. Can't take it down. These words were somewhat incomprehensible. When Meng Luo threw the equipment out, everyone outside the spiritual array was dumbfounded. Can you take it down? Meng Luo pointed at the pile of equipment on the ground and asked in a low voice, If you can take it down, I'll continue to throw it out. Everyone? Wasn't this all? There were over 100 pieces of equipment on the ground, and the worst one was a divine weapon. She actually said that she was going to throw more. Meng Luo, did you move all the equipment from your clan here? Hua Jianrou pointed at the hundreds of divine weapons on the ground and said, There are so many and you still have more. Only a few. Meng Luo curled her lips. Only a few? Was this something a human could say? Many countries dreamed of having a divine weapon but couldn't get it. Meng Luo threw out over 100 and still said that there were only a few? To be honest, even though Hua Jianrou and the others were all ancestors, it was hard for them to understand Meng Luo's life. Zhu Yisan seemed to be scared out of his wits. After hesitating for a while, he nodded and said, You can take it down. If you still have a lot of equipment, take them out. Otherwise, if they find out, you will suffer a great loss. Then I'll throw them away. Clang, clang, clang. Every time the ground rumbled, everyone's heart trembled. These were all divine weapons. They were thrown on the ground like trash. There were already 6 piles and each pile had about 100 pieces. In other words, Meng Luo had already thrown out 600 divine weapons. Are there more? Zhu Yisan said in a low voice. Yes. Wait a moment. Clang. This time, there weren't as many as before. There were only about 50 pieces in a pile, but the level had increased. Ancient divine weapon. Are there more? Yes. Clang. Are there more? Yes. Clang. And that's all. Looking at the equipment on the ground, if they were to be placed together, they could form a mountain. When everyone heard Meng Luo say no, they all heaved a sigh of relief. It was over. The scene of being bombarded by money ended. Oh, by the way, I have to give you the one I'm wearing. Meng Luo muttered to herself, then said, Do we have to remove the sole divine tool as well? I'm going to take it. Zhu Yunsen nodded. All right then. Clang. This time, the equipment was thrown down. A full set of Heavenly God artifact. This is for you too. Meng Luo then took off the hairpin and the small earrings. When she took them off, she showed a rare solemn expression. She had never been this serious even when she had thrown so many divine artifacts, ancient artifacts, and heavenly artifacts. You must keep these 2 safe for me. Although they are only heavenly artifacts, I like them very much. Little Yu, I think I heard wrongly. Hua Jianrou patted Bai Yu's shoulder and pointed at her ears. I think I heard wrongly. Meng Luo said that those 2 accessories are heavenly artifacts, right? I think so. Bai Yu nodded. Sister Hua, you didn't hear wrongly. Those 2 are indeed heavenly artifact. Meng Luo explained, that hairpin is a defensive heavenly artifact. If someone attacks me, it will automatically form an invincible barrier and teleport me back to my house. It's a one-time use item. The earring is an auxiliary Heavenly God artifact. It can be considered as the replacement Heavenly God artifact for this hairpin. If the opponent's attack causes a shock to my soul, or if my body is injured, the earring will heal me immediately. However, I like the way they look, that's why I brought them. Hua Jianrou? Who am I? Where am I? How am I fit to be one of Planet Yin's 4 ancestors with Meng Luo? With that, Meng Luo carefully placed the hairpin and earrings in Zhu Yunsan's hands and pointed at the divine artifacts on the ground. Don't mix up these divine artifacts. The divine artifacts that I wear have to be stored separately. If you mix them up, I won't know how to wear them. These heavenly artifacts were carefully selected by my family for me. They complement each other. And those divine artifacts, you have to store them separately. They are for me to throw out to self-destruct. If I mix them up, I won't know which to use. Remember, you have to store them according to the order I throw them out. Otherwise, I won't be able to remember. Gulp. Winnie and Aylin couldn't help but swallow their saliva. Those divine artifacts are meant to self-destruct. That's too extravagant. They really hoped that Miss Meng Luo would take pity on them and throw a few divine artifacts at them. Not too many. 1 divine artifact is fine. Self-destruct is too wasteful. Hua Jianrou was also shocked. Their family's divine artifact set in China was still incomplete. Meng Luo's family actually gave her so many divine artifacts to throw out to defend against enemies. After playing together for so long, they never expected Meng Luo's family to be so rich. It wasn't that they hadn't been to Meng Luo's residence. Her family on planet Yin wasn't as large as Bai Yu's and Hua Jianrou's. Now, she finally understood why her father told her that Meng Luo's family wasn't a simple family. Not simple at all. To be able to give out hundreds of divine artifacts to throw around, wear heavenly artifacts from head to toe, and have hair clips and earrings, how could she be a simple family? Zhu Yunsan's head buzzed as he listened. This was the 4th time he had received a trial team. Among so many trial groups, It was not that there were no people wearing divine artifacts. However, he had never seen anyone wearing a set of heavenly divine artifacts and carrying hundreds of divine artifacts with them. Not to mention anything else, if anyone could kidnap Meng Luo, a first-rate family would come out. This wasn't an exaggeration at all. Compared to experts, equipment was even rarer. If you could provide those experts with the equipment they wanted, they would be willing to serve you, using divine artifacts to recruit a country lord. All the country lords in the universe would be eager to get it. Zhu Yunsan let out a deep breath and nodded. Don't worry, I will store them for you in batches. When the time comes, you can also take them away in batches. Thank you for your hard work. Make sure to take care of that hair clip and earrings. I don't care about the rest, but those two are my favorite, Meng Luo instructed. Okay, I'll remember. Zhu Yunsan nodded and carefully used universe energy to hold up the surrounding divine artifacts. Miss Meng Luo said so. These equipment couldn't be placed randomly. He could only split his energy to organize them in batches. After a full 10 minutes, Zhu Yunsan walked to the teleportation array after confirming that there were no mistakes. Everyone, you can enter the city now. Chapter 28:12. That day, the ancestral dragon tribe welcomed the relic feast. The townsfolk would never forget what they saw for the rest of their lives. At the teleportation point of the scavenger district, a small mountain of relic hovered above Zhu Yunsan's head. The dazzling array of divine artifacts of various colors were so dazzling that they almost blinded the eyes of the city residents. It was too terrifying. They doubted their own eyes. Hundreds of relic, ancient relic, and heavenly relic appeared in front of them. Even the ancestral dragon tribe, a tribe that could obtain relic in the scavenger district, was frightened to death by this scene. The news spread like wildfire. More and more people gathered here, drooling as they looked at the relic above Zhu Yunsan's head. We seem to be the center of attention. The flame rat at the back muttered softly. He coughed lightly and walked forward with his chest puffed out. Why are you acting like a grandpa? Unfortunately, before he could pretend for long, Hua Jianrou slapped the back of his head. Are they looking at you? They're looking at the artifact above our heads. She turned to look at Meng Luo's position, thinking that she had to ask her after she settled down. What did Meng Luo's family do? They had so many relic they didn't use. Could they sell some to her family? Her father spent most of his time in the mystic realm and couldn't even afford the relic of China. Isn't that our equipment too? The flame rat pouted. Do you have any shame? Do you think this is planet Saturn? You're scared by a relic? They're only shocked by our many relic. Are those yours? Aren't they Meng Luo's? Hua Jianrou rolled her eyes. This Zhu Yunsan. He's purposely holding up those relic. Is he waiting for others to snatch it? To be honest, the townsfolk did have such thoughts. So many relic. Many people were greedy. Unfortunately, they didn't want to die yet. Although the ancestral dragon tribe had a vast territory, the few lords in the tribe all had their own means. Robbing in the city, especially those who came to participate in the trial, was a capital offense. However, they all had the same thought. But these trial takers were just too rich. During this period of time, there were many outsiders from the ancestral dragon clan. Those who went to receive them would often bring their equipment from various barren areas into the city. However, he had never heard of any group of people with so much equipment. Quite a few people had already gone to investigate Yi Zichen's identity. As for why they'd done so, no one knew. I don't think so. Hearing Hua Jianrou's whisper, Bai Yu replied softly. Then tell me, why didn't he fly? Why did he walk into the city? Hua Jianrou pouted. It's not that he can't fly, it's just that this place seems to prohibit flying. Bai Yu muttered. Huh? Try it yourself if you don't believe me. Bai Yu glanced at Hua Jianrou and said, Also, along the way, did you see anyone flying in the air? Everyone was walking on the ground. Hua Jianro tried it subconsciously and her face darkened. I really can't. And I can't even feel the energy of the universe here. That's right. Bai Yu nodded. This city isn't as simple as we think. When we get to the resting area, we have to get to know this place. What do you think? Bai Yu looked towards Yi Zichen. Right now, the backbone of their group was Yi Zichen. Naturally, he was the one making the decisions. In the past, Hua Jianro would fight with Yi Zichen for the position of decision-maker, but ever since the trial war, Hua Jianro stopped fighting with Yi Zichen. Sure. This place was indeed very strange. The moment they entered the city, Yi Zichen sensed that something was off. This place didn't seem to have any laws. Not being able to fly in the air and not having the energy of the universe was also a small matter. They couldn't even sense the laws of the 5 elements here. All they could do was use their own strength. Yi Zichen had never felt this way before. Even if Bai Yu and company hadn't said anything, he would have decided to find a place to settle down and do some research on the ancestral dragon clan. About half an hour later, under the watchful eyes of the ancestral dragon residents, Yi Zichen's group arrived at the ancestral dragon clan's storage area. Even if it was the staff of the storage office, they had been dealing with the trial testers who came here during this period of time. They were also handling the procedures for the storage of equipment. However, for such a large number of people to come here, there was simply none. All the staff in the storage area started to get busy. There was identification, there was storage, and there was processing. Zhu Yunsan stared at the counter and told the staff where to place the equipment. Several hundred pieces of equipment. The ancestral dragon clan's storage area took 3 whole hours to finish storing everything. This was due to the special nature of the equipment. All of them were divine artifacts and heavenly divine artifacts. If the ancestral dragon clan made a mistake, it would be a huge loss. Miss Meng Luo, this is your storage card. Zhu Yunsan handed Meng Luo's card to her. Zhu Yunsan handed Meng Luo's cards to her. Remember the order of these cards. The order of the cards is the order in which you equip them. Alright, thanks for your hard work. Meng Luo nodded with a giggle. Meng Luo nodded with a giggle. Zhu Yunsan nodded in agreement. This was what he should do, then handed everyone else's cards back to them. Alright, the equipment storage is over. My guidance for everyone ends here. Everyone can move about freely in the city. If you want to understand the ancestral dragon clan, you can explore on your own, Zhu Yunsan smiled. Zhu Yisan smiled. Hua Jianro frowned. It's over? Yeah, it's over, Zhu Yunsan nodded. Zhu Yunsan nodded. This is the ancestral dragon clan's 2nd level city. Our guiding mission has ended here. Then where are we staying? Hua Jianro asked. Yeah, you haven't arranged a place for us to stay yet. Meng Luo also spoke up. Meng Luo also said, hurry up and take us to where we'll be staying. I'm so tired that I need to rest. Zhu Yunsan furrowed her brows and spoke. The ancestral dragon clan doesn't care about accommodation. All of a sudden, everyone in the group was stunned. Then, they heard Meng Luo open her mouth in shock. Ah! You guys don't care about our accommodation? Then where are we staying? You guys will have to solve the accommodation problem yourselves, Zhu Yunsan smiled. There are many hotels in this city. You guys can go there and ask around. As for other questions, you can also ask the people in the city. They are all very warm-hearted people. It's my pleasure to serve you guys. Goodbye. With that, Zhu Yunsan left the storage area without looking back, leaving Yi Zichen and company looking at each other in confusion. What the heck? Ancestral Dragon Clan, what are they doing? Chapter 28:13. The team of 10 stood silently outside the storage area. Even though they didn't know what season it was now in the Ancestral Dragon Clan, the wind that blew over seemed to be able to chill their hearts. Were they being abandoned? Now that they'd arrived at the Ancestral Dragon Clan, they had to find a hotel themselves. That wasn't a big deal. If money could solve any problem, It wasn't a problem. Most importantly, they didn't need money here. The human universe's universal currency was universal, but the ancestral dragon clan didn't accept it. What did they accept? Points. Then they asked how much the cheapest room cost. It cost 20. They only had 12 points in their point stones. The entire team was like orphans abandoned by the world. The cold wind blew silently. How about we kill our way to the Hero's Mountain? Hua Jianrou's eyes burned with rage as she looked at the towering palace outside the city. She asked around. Heroes like Judgment and Justice lived on that mountain. They were also the highest leaders of the ancestral dragon clan. I agree. Meng Luo raised her hands, bit her lips, and shouted angrily. Agree my ass. Zhao Xian patted Meng Luo's head. If you hadn't handed over your divine artifact, we could still fight them and blast them to death. Now you don't even have a divine artifact, and we don't have a single piece of equipment. How are you supposed to fight them? You'll be killed before you even reach the foot of the mountain. You want to fight your way up the divine mountain? These kids were probably leeches. There were bound to be a lot of guards at the foot of the mountain. If they charged over like that, wouldn't that be suicide? In truth, Yi Zichen knew that Meng Luo and Hua Jianrou were just complaining. Even so, they couldn't. Who knew if they'd really go crazy? Besides, the Divine Mountain held a high position in the ancestral dragon clan. If they were to be overheard by others, they would be beaten up again. That would be like suffering in silence, unable to voice out their bitterness. Then what should we do? Our point stones have been exchanged. Hua Jianrou frowned, then clenched her fists. I really want to capture that Zhu Yunshi and tear him to shreds. Even that won't quell my hatred. That's right. Meng Luo agreed, her face scrunched up. I'm so tired now, I want to lie down on the velvet bed and rest. I also want to drink the sweet spring water of Mount Tianshan in the North Pole. I want to eat. Stop, I'm going to be hungry if you keep talking. Yi Zichen was speechless. He tore apart Zhu Yunshi. He also wanted to. But now was not the time for them to tear him apart. All right, Hua Meng Luo, don't complain anymore. At this moment, Bai Yu stood up and comforted her. It's not a matter of complaining or not. What's more important is where we're going to stay tonight. Are we going to just find a random place to sleep on the floor? Hua Jianrou frowned and said, Look, it's getting dark. We have to have some points to stay. Hey, sleeping on the floor is a good idea. Yi Zichen smiled. Go by yourself. Hua Jianrou glared at him. How dare you make us girls sleep on the floor with you? You're the captain. You should think of something quickly. There's a way? Of course there's a way. Yi Zichen shrugged. Look at your poor memories. Did you forget what the nine-faced hegemon sent me? He saved up quite a few points with the ancestral dragon clan. Let's just take them out. Yeah. Thinking about this, Hua Jianrou's eyes lit up. Then why aren't you going? You guys keep grumbling here. Just sit on the ground and don't give me a chance to go over. Yi Zichen was speechless. If you want to go, then get up from the ground and go get your points. Let's go. At the mention of points, Meng Luo and Hua Jianrou perked up and jogged out. Where are you going? Yi Zichen tilted his head. Aren't we going to the Heaven and Earth Trading Company to collect points? So you guys know about the Heaven and Earth Trading Company? Let's go this way. Yi Zichen pointed in the opposite direction and let out a long sigh helplessly. Hurry up, we might run into more robbers when it gets dark. If we lose more points, we'll really have no way out. Heaven and Earth Trading Company. In every city of the ancestral dragon clan, there was a branch of this trading company. There were 2 large lion statues at the entrance of the trading company, which were used to guard the entrance. There were also 2 red lanterns hanging outside, which added to the festive atmosphere of the trading company. The moment they entered, a staff member of the trading company greeted them. Are you guys here for a loan? Loan? Hearing that, Yi Zichen and company were shocked. Please don't blame us. You guys should be universe geniuses that came to our ancestral dragon clan to learn, right? Recently, our trading company has received quite a few trial teams that came to get loans. Seeing that you guys came here, we subconsciously asked about it. Most importantly, if you guys weren't here for a loan, you wouldn't have come here in a short period of time. The staff member explained with a smile. Oh, we can get loans too. Hua Jianro nodded in a rather slow manner. That's true, our trial last time caused quite a few people to lose everything. They all have negative points, so they definitely don't have enough points to get a place to stay. Isn't that the Milky Way Lord? At that moment, a small team walked into the trading company. Behind their group, there was a guy as tall as a hill. Hey, big guy. Meng Luo waved her hand in surprise. The mountain-like person was stunned for a moment. It's you guys. Hee, we really met in the ancestral dragon clan. Meng Luo laughed. The team in front of them was none other than Lion Hong's team. As for the mountain-like person, he was the mountain they met at the supply station. He had also said that he would go to the ancestral dragon clan after receiving an invitation from someone else. However, it was rather surprising. He actually joined Lion Hong's team. You know them? Lion Hong frowned and looked at Mountain. Mountain nodded honestly. Yes, Your Majesty Lion Hong. We got to know each other at the supply station when you came to pick me up. Heh, don't you know any good people? Lion Hong sneered. Who are you talking about? Meng Luo walked up with her hands on her hip. Let me see who you are. Oh, aren't you the guy who wanted to marry my big sister by you, but failed in the end? Your dad is the Heavenly Lion Overlord, right? It's good that you know. Lion Hong said arrogantly. No. Hey, why are you so proud of yourself? Meng Luo was speechless. Who the hell is your dad? Do you really think your dad is a big shot? What a joke, you are still so proud of yourself. Say that again. Lion Hong's expression changed drastically. The father he respected the most was actually being slandered. How could he not be angry? So what if I say it 10,000 times? Isn't it just the Heavenly Lion clan, a second-rate clan? Meng Luo curled her lips in disdain. I really don't know what is there to be proud of. Big guy, don't be in the same group as the salted fish. Come to our group, we guarantee that you will graduate. Chapter 28:14. From the moment she saw Lion Hong, Meng Luo hated him very much. She didn't know why. Perhaps it had something to do with him chasing after Bai Yu. But even though Yi Zichen and Bai Yu were engaged, she was still very friendly towards Yi Zichen. Or perhaps it was just that they simply didn't meet. Some people decided their attitude towards them the moment they laid eyes on them. She liked Shan a lot. Lion Hong was just so disgusting. Say that again. Lion Hong was as furious as a lion as he glared fiercely at the little lowly, Meng Luo. Yi Zichen frowned, then walked up. You want to fight? Heh. Lion Hong's eyes reddened when he saw Yi Zichen walk over. He and Yi Zichen were truly enemies. Yi Zichen stole his woman. And now, his team was maliciously slandering his father and clan. Planet Een. He knew that it was the Bai and Hua families. Although Meng Luo was there as well, he didn't take her seriously at all. So what if I want to fight? Lion Hong, be more dignified, Yi Zichen smiled. Yi Zichen smiled. If you have any anger, then come at me. What are you trying to do to the people in our group? I'm trying? She wasn't the one slandering my father and clan? Hey, don't say that. Meng Luo put her hands on her hips unhappily. Meng Luo put her hands on her hips and said unhappily, I'm a very polite person. You're the one who said I don't know any good people. Explain to me what's so bad about us. Heh. Lion Hong smiled without saying anything. You can't say it? Meng Luo smiled. Our team has the Milky Way Lord and the heirs of Planet Yin's 4 clans. I won't mention anyone else, but your Heavenly Lion clan and second-rate Beast clan aren't even worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as us. Do you understand? Who are you calling a second-rate Beast clan? You, the Heavenly Lion clan, Meng Luo said disdainfully. If you don't understand the history of the universe, then go back and do some research. Don't come out and embarrass yourself. In the Lion Clan, the true first-rate clans are the Flame Lionman clan and the Ice Flame Lionman clan. Your Heavenly Lion clan was originally a two-winged lion clan, a second-rate, low-rank clan among the Lionman clan. It was your father, the Heavenly Lion Overlord, who got lucky and broke through to become an overlord. That's why he changed the name of your tribe to Heavenly Lion Tribe. If you don't believe me, go back and ask your father. Also, your father took 136,000 years to become an overlord, and his aptitude is considered mediocre even among the overlords. I heard that the reason he was able to break through was because he became a lackey of the Supremes Association. He knelt in front of them and begged for mercy. That was how he managed to break through to the overlord rank. Unfortunately, after breaking through to overlord, your father became rebellious. Ungrateful! He went to work for Star-Lord Songyue again. To put it bluntly, he's an ungrateful wretch. Trash! Meng Luo's mouth was like a machine gun as she spoke. Even Yi Zichen and company were shocked, while Hua Jianrou asked in shock. Meng Luo, where did you hear about this? My second uncle told me. Meng Luo shook her head. I know a lot more. I'm just worried that this shameless guy in front of me will be too ashamed to show his face. What else do you know? I know. Meng Luo suddenly grinned. Shihong's mother used to be his aunt, right? You're seeking death. Shut up. Shihong punched out. Yi Zichen focused his gaze and was about to follow suit, but before his fist could land, he was sent flying by a staff member. Heaven and Earth Trading Company. No one is allowed to fight here. The person who'd attacked was none other than the staff member who'd received Yi Zichen. He frowned as he looked at Shihong, who'd fallen to the ground. Your Excellency, please don't make a mistake. Hey, poor guy. Someone hit a sore spot, Meng Luo pouted and said regretfully. Meng Luo pursed her lips and said with a regretful expression, Shihong, do you know why your father has always refused to pass the position to you? It's because. Miss, please don't say any more. Everyone watched as Meng Luo moved her lips, but no sound came out. Shihong sat on the ground with bloodshot eyes. You dare to hit me? No one can break the rules of the Heaven and Earth Trading Company. You don't need to tell me who you are. This is the Heaven and Earth Trading Company. Even if you're the master of the Milky Way, you can't make a move here. The staff member's expression did not change. Okay. Shihong stood up with the help of his team members. I can't make a move in the store, but I can do it outside, right? As long as it's not in the store, then we don't care. The staff member replied. Fine, little girl, just you wait. Shihong stared at Meng Luo with bloodshot eyes. He actually knew that his mother was indeed his aunt. He'd heard about it from his clansmen. His mother used to be his third uncle's woman, but was forcefully taken by his father. His third uncle fought with his father. The Heavenly Lion clan also split up because of this. This was something he didn't want to talk about the most. He didn't expect a little girl like Meng Luo to know about it, and even say it in front of everyone. But now, in his eyes, Meng Luo was even more hateful. Heh, you think I'm afraid of you? Meng Luo's face was filled with disdain. She didn't continue talking about being muted. If you want to make a move on me, then send your father a message and ask him if you want to hit Meng Luo. Do you think he'll let you do it? I'm afraid that even mentioning my name will scare your father to death. A second-rate clan wants to scare this lady? When my family was fighting for the human race, your Heavenly Lion clan might not even have been born yet. Salted fish. Don't come out. If you dare, then stay here for the rest of your lives. Shihong clenched his fist and walked out of the trading company. The others also followed behind him. Shan hesitated for a moment, then also walked out. Don't go with them. At that moment, Yi Zichen raised his hand and stopped him. Shihong hates us, but he definitely won't vent his anger on us. It's very possible that he'll blame everything on you. It's fine. Sean gave a simple and honest smile. If I can vent my anger by getting punched a few times and not cause trouble for you guys, then I'm very willing to get punched by him. It's not a matter of punching a few times. Yi Zichen frowned. I know, Sean replied honestly. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. What's more, he's actually scared of me, so he doesn't dare to do anything to me. But if I follow you guys, then my clansmen will be in danger. Sean. Come out. Shi Hong shouted outside the trading company. Hearing that, Sean replied with a smile. I'm very happy to see you guys here. With that, Sean hurried outside, and was greeted by Shi Hong's sullen gaze. He didn't say anything, and just stood at the very back. As for Shi Hong, he stood a few meters away from the trading company and waited for Yi Zichen and company to leave. Chapter 28:15. Really? I didn't expect there to be such an arrogant person in the universe. I thought the people of my race were just saying it. Even if Shi Hongdo had already left the trading company. Meng Luo seemed to be mumbling incessantly. Meng Luo, are you telling the truth? Hua Jianruo walked over with a face full of gossip. Why don't I know anything about what you said? When it came to gossip, Hua Jianruo was serious. There was a period of time when she was passionate about collecting gossip, especially about the universe's strongest. She did not know anything about the Celestial Lion Overlord. She also didn't know about the Flame Lion Man tribe and the Ice Flame Lion Man tribe that Meng Luo mentioned. You're a human. You definitely wouldn't know. I'm not a human. Oh yes, your family is from the flower race. Meng Luo nodded. But you're not a spirit beast either. This is the history of our spirit beast race. My family has ancient records of this. As for those gossips about the Heavenly Lion Overlord, they were all told by my uncle. You've all met my uncle before. He's a gossip junkie, and he always tells me about these things when he has nothing to do. When we came to the ancestral dragon tribe, my uncle told me about the Heavenly Lion Overlord. I see. Hua Jianruo's eyes were burning with the flames of gossip. I really didn't expect the Heavenly Lion tribe to do something like this. To think that they would snatch their brother's woman. TSK. Meng Luo, can you give me your uncle's virtual network account? I want to add him as a friend. Sure. The two girls got together to deal with the account. As for Lion Hong, who was standing outside the door, they didn't seem to care. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to transact business? Yes. Hearing that, Yi Zichen nodded. But I didn't come for a loan. I came to retrieve some things that were left here by the ancestors. Sure, please follow me. The staff member brought Yi Zichen to an independent counter. Please provide the extraction key. Then, a keypad appeared in front of Yi Zichen, and he keyed in all the numbers the nine-faced overlords had given him. Yi Zichen didn't ask for too much. It was fine as long as he could keep a few thousand points for them to stay in. As for how to earn more points in the future, that would be another matter. The most important thing right now was to get through tonight. When the numbers were entered, the staff on the other side frowned slightly. The storage of the nine-faced hegemon. Your Excellency, may I ask? I am Yi Zichen, the Virtual World Corporation's representative for the trial. Yi Zichen replied. You are a galactic lord? The staff member was surprised. Yes. Then do you want to take what your teacher left here as well? The staff kindly reminded. Your teacher's things have been stored here for a long time, and no one has come to pick them up. Would you like to take them away? Give it to him directly. You definitely need a key. The staff smiled. Forget it then. The Lord of the Milky Way had a storage facility here as well, but he hadn't given Yi Zichen a key. Based on Yi Zichen's estimates, the Milky Way Lord had stored quite a few treasures here. What a pity. Alright, please wait for a moment. The nine-faced Overlord has been here for a long time. We need to verify it first. The staff smiled kindly. Sure. During this period, Hua Jianrou seemed to have added Meng Luo's uncle. His consciousness was immersed in the virtual network, and he did not know what he was doing. Not long later, he returned to reality and looked at Meng Luo in shock. Your uncle isn't bluffing, right? He won't. Meng Luo shook her head. Meng Luo shook her head. Everything he said is definitely true. You can trust him unconditionally. Turtle. Hua Jianrou opened her eyes wide in shock, then pulled Bai Yu back. Lil Bai, you're lucky you didn't marry into the Heavenly Lion race. The Heavenly Lion Overlord is a bastard. What is it? Bai Yu didn't understand. Did you know? Shi Hong once had 3 wives, but they were all taken by the Heavenly Lion Overlord, Hua Jianrou shouted. Hua Jianrou widened her eyes and shouted, if you go, who knows? That Heavenly Lion Overlord is really. He's obviously getting a wife for his son, but in reality, he's getting himself a concubine. This is too terrifying. Is that so? Bai Yu was stunned. Shut up, all of you! Shi Hong shouted loudly outside. Hua Jianrou and the others' voices in the trading firm weren't soft, so Shi Hong could hear them clearly from outside. What? Your dad can do it, but you can't say it? Hua Jianrou put her hands on her waist and stood at the entrance of the store. You're such a coward. Your dad slept with your women, but you don't dare to say anything? Even now, those women are still your concubines in name, right? How disgusting! I heard this is quite common in your Lion Man race. Why is your race so vile? Don't you care about morality and ethics? I told you to shut up. Shi Hong clenched his teeth and shouted. I can't. Come in and beat me if you can. If you touch a finger of mine, your Heavenly Lion race will be gone. Do you believe me? Hua Jianrou was as disdainful as Meng Luo was towards the Heavenly Lion race. Coward. I thought you were quite cowardly when I first saw you. I didn't expect you to be so cowardly. Shut up. No, I won't. Hua Jianrou shook her head and shouted at the entrance, Come, come, come. Everyone, look over here. It doesn't matter if you're natives of the ancestral dragon tribe or Her Highness who's here to participate in the trial. Let me tell you about the second-rate and disgusting human tribe, the Heavenly Lion tribe. These things are rather interesting and will definitely topple your worldview. Everyone, give me some points if you have points, and listen to the show if you don't. Yi Zichen, who was standing at the very center of the store, couldn't help but laugh. These few ancestors, for Lion Hong to run into them, he really had 8 lifetimes worth of bloody misfortune. I'm going to kill you. Shi Hong clenched his fist and charged over once again. Hua Jianrou didn't even blink. Just as Shi Hong was about to succeed. Boom! He, who had already leapt into the air, fell heavily onto the ground. Lord Yi, please tell your friend not to cause any more trouble. The staff smiled wryly. It's here. It's here, it's all here. With that, the staff placed a box on the table. This is what the 9-faced Overlord left behind. Thank you. Wait, Milky Way Lord. Just as Yi Zichen was about to open the box, the staff actually revealed a look of curiosity. Can I ask what your relationship with the 9-faced Overlord is? Is it very important? If you say so, then I can use a piece of information to exchange with you. I can guarantee that this information is definitely very important to you. She is my older sister. Then, Yi Zichen saw the staff let out a long sigh. That's good, you're safe now. Chapter 28:16. What's going on? 3 question marks surfaced in Yi Zichen's mind when he heard the Heaven and Earth Trading Company employees reply. Gee, could it be that the 9-faced Overlord isn't my older sister, and something happened to her? What do you mean? Not long after the staff member finished speaking, Yi Zichen asked in confusion. If you want to know the reason behind this, please pay the corresponding points. F***ck me. I need points. Yi Zichen glared at the staff member in front of him, who reached out his hand and smiled until his eyes became slits. You're not going to say it? You'll answer me if I answer you? That's right, the employee nodded. The staff nodded noncommittally. I did say that, and I did answer you. That's your answer? The 3 question marks in Yi Zichen's mind instantly turned into countless question marks when he thought back to the employee's words. That's right. Lord Yi, we, the Heaven and Earth Trading Company, have always done business honestly. One reply for one piece of information. This is a very fair and reasonable trade, the employee replied firmly. The staff member's reply was loud and clear. Looking at his impassioned and righteous expression, it was as if he really did think so. I really didn't expect there to be such a shameless person in the world. Yi Zichen didn't know how to retort. Friend, do you know? I just got here, don't force me to slap you. Yi Zichen suppressed his voice. Lord Yi, why do you say that? You're saying that you're exchanging a piece of extremely important information with me? Yi Zichen glared. That's right, is Lord Ye's life not important? The staff member replied calmly, what I just replied to you was that you're safe. This is a piece of information that concerns your life, is it not important? F***ck. There really is such a person. He's lying through his teeth, and he's even saying it so clearly. Do you think I'm easy to bully? That I'm easy to scare? Do you know who my esteemed master is? Do you know who my older sisters are? You still dare to lie to me? I don't. You know that my esteemed master is the master of the Milky Way. However, none of my sisters are to be trifled with. The head of the Virtual World Corporation, Wan Li, the Spirit Phoenix, who controls the space of destruction, and the Nine-Faced Overlord, who I'm currently retrieving. Are you really not afraid that they will come to the Ancestral Dragon Clan to beat you up? Yi Zichen glared. Then I'll look forward to it. You're stubborn, huh? Yi Zichen pointed at the staff member and glared. Fine, say it. How much can I buy the information for? See, you should have asked that earlier. The staff rubbed his hands together. If you want the complete information, you'll need to provide 3 million points. As long as you pay enough points, I'll answer all your questions. Of course, it's within the scope of this information. Wait a moment. Yi Zichen grabbed the arm of the talkative staff member. Do I have to ask for 3 million points? That's right. If you didn't ask, how would I know what you want to know? The staff member replied. Can't you tell me everything? How is that possible? It would be a huge loss if I told you everything. The staff member shrugged. Just ask, but you might not have asked in detail. When you come back next time, I can continue selling you information. Where's my blade? Yi Zichen rummaged through his pockets for a long while. He wanted nothing more than to pull out his blade and hack this troublemaker to death. Just listen to what he's saying. Is that even human? Lord Yi, don't be so hot-tempered. It's business after all. If you can negotiate, then do it. If you can't, then don't hurt our friendship. The staff said with a smile. Do you dare tell me your name? This humble one is Wan Xinkai. All right, Wan Xinkai, I'll remember you. Yi Zichen pointed at Wan Xinkai for a long while. He really wanted to punch him in the nose. I can take all of this, right? That's right. Wan Xinkai maintained his smile the entire time. Humph. Yi Zichen snorted coldly, then grabbed the bag. After rummaging through it for a long while, he found a crystal for storing points. He put it in his pocket. He glared viciously at Wan Xinkai. Just you wait. He Lord Yi, take care, Wan Xinkai smiled. Wan Xinkai's face was full of smiles. In the future, if you have any needs, just come over. Our business firm does all kinds of business. Pawning, buying and selling, intelligence gathering, and even marriage divination business. We also do bodyguard services here. We can find any overlord that bids a high price. Remember to help us advertise it. If you recommend someone, we'll reward you with 100 points. Remember, Lord Yi. Hurry up and stop talking. Yi Zichen couldn't help but glare. Why did I meet such a shameless person right after coming to the Ancestral Dragon Clan? Yi Zichen arrived at the entrance of the shop and said to everyone, "Let's go. I'll continue telling you guys. This Sky Lion Overlord." Hua Jianrou continued to gossip to the people outside. Even Yi Zichen was shocked by the number of people outside. Why are there so many people? Stop talking, let's go. Yi Zichen patted Hua Jianrou's shoulder. You got it? Hua Jianrou glared, then pointed at Lion Hong, whose face was already purplish-red in anger. Are you sure we're going out now? Now you know to be afraid. What were you thinking? Yi Zichen was speechless. What a joke, I'm afraid of him. Hearing Yi Zichen's words, Hua Jianrou instantly said in disdain. Fine, let's go. Then hurry up and go. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows as he looked at Hua Jianrou, who did not move even a single step. You first, you're the captain. You're really something. Yi Zichen nearly laughed out loud. He rubbed Hua Jianrou's head, then walked out of the Heaven and Earth Trading Company. The moment they came out, Lion Hong, whose eyes were already bloodshot, charged out like a mad bull with white breath coming out of his nostrils. Die! Dong! Not long after Lion Hong charged over, he fell onto the ground as if he hit an invisible barrier. Yi Zichen, who wanted to test his martial arts with Lion Hong, was also stunned. What's going on? Yi Zichen subconsciously squatted down as he looked at Lion Hong, who did not get up for a long time. Are you all right? I'm going to kill you. Lion Hong swung his claws, but when he was about to touch Yi Zichen, all of his nails shattered. The 10 fingers were connected to the heart. The intense pain caused Lion Hong's arms to tremble as he rolled around. At that moment, a crystal rolled out from his arms and landed beside Yi Zichen's feet. This stone seems to be an accumulative crystal. Yi Zichen reached out to pick up the crystal, then infused cosmic energy into it. Not long later, the number 100,000 appeared on the crystal. I didn't reduce the loan. Yi Zichen shrugged. Thank you. Then, he put the crystal into his arms and tilted his head towards the people behind him. Let's go find a place to stay. Chapter 28:17. Wow, that's too extravagant. 1,000 points for a night. In the spacious living room, this was the first time Yi Zichen and company didn't rest in the cabin after their long interstellar journey. Instead, they stretched in a comfortable bedroom. Due to the number of people, Yi Zichen and company chose a suite for 1,000 points for a night, which could accommodate 15 people. The room was decorated like an inn from ancient times. There weren't any high-tech products. However, this sort of retro style made Meng Luo and company feel very satisfied, since they were used to seeing high-tech cities. Actually, the inn didn't do it on purpose. The ancestral Dragon Clan city that they were in had a similar architectural style to Earth's ancient times. What's extravagant about it? Isn't there something even more expensive here? That hero suite or something, it's 15,000 points for a night. Hua Jianrou twitched her mouth, then laid down on the sofa in the living room. What's more, isn't this sponsored by Lion Hong? It's a waste if we don't stay. Lion Hong is such a good person. Meng Luo also spoke up. Yeah, why did he give us points after talking for so long? What an idiot, Hua Jianrou replied. Oh yeah, Yeezy. How many points is there in Lion Hong's point crystal? 100,000. That's it. Hearing that number, Hua Jianrou seemed a bit disappointed. He's so proud of himself as the young master of a first-rate clan and doesn't give in to anyone. How can 100,000 reflect his status? I think he should lend us 100 million, then let us get the point crystal. That's more in line with his idiotic personality. I agree. Meng Luo raised her hand and laughed. Haha, Meng Luo also thinks that I'm right? High five. Hua Jianrou clapped with Meng Luo. Yi Zichen felt like the more time they spent together, everyone seemed to be more open, and their true natures were starting to be exposed. For example, Meng Luo. She was a little lowly at Yi Zichen's place before, and was a bit silly and cute. Right now, He was a black-bellied little devil with a venomous tongue. Hua Jianrou was pretty much the same. She and Meng Luo could be said to be the best partners. The two of them were a pair of living treasures, and it was quite fun when they sang along. You too. Yi Zichen sighed with a smile. It's already pretty good that they can give us 100,000 points. I reckon that even if it's a loan of 100,000 points, they'll still have to pay a lot. That Heaven and Earth Trading Company is a black market. What happened? Su Yan raised her eyebrows. In any case, it's just a black merchant. Stay away from that place in the future. When Yi Zichen thought of that Wan Xingkai, he felt extremely angry. And people like him. He was so confident that he could scam others. Yi Zichen truly cursed him for his business to fail and go bankrupt. It would be best if he ended up begging on the street. He just so happened to come to Yi Zichen, so Yi Zichen told him to give him 100,000 reasons before giving him the money. Achoo! Wan Xingkai, who was tidying up his business, rubbed his nose. Who cursed my business to go bankrupt? These guys are really vicious. President, we're leaving. The staff in the trading firm waved their hands, and Wan Xingkai smiled and nodded. Let's go back. Be careful on the road. Don't be late for work tomorrow. After saying that, Wan Xingkai rubbed his sore nose again. The nine-faced overlord is the elder sister of the Milky Way overlord. It's not too much to sell this information, right? Not too much, not too much. How about 500,000? Wan Xingkai muttered to himself with a smile, then yawned. Time to rest. Tomorrow is another day of wealth. If Yi Zichen knew that Wan Xingkai was actually going to sell the relationship between him and the nine-faced overlord for 500,000, how would he feel? He would definitely be f***ed. A piece of information worth 500,000 in exchange for. You're safe. Even if Yi Zichen didn't know that the information was so expensive, he was still very angry. He got screwed over the moment he arrived at the ancestral dragon clan. That's so annoying. Yi, we won't get into trouble after taking the points from Lion Hong's loan, right? Bai Yu asked softly. Trouble? What kind of trouble? Yi Zichen shrugged nonchalantly. We just arrived at the ancestral dragon clan. Didn't Zhu Yunshi take away the point stone as well? It's like walking on the road and losing universe credits in our pockets. What kind of trouble would the person who picked it up get into? At most, it's just a matter of returning it or not. It's still friendship, no, it's still duty. So what? I don't like to keep the money I picked up, so I kept it for myself and didn't give it to him. How could he use morality to blackmail me? As long as I have no morals, he can't kidnap me. Yi Zichen rubbed the crystal he got from Lion Hong. Won't the loan be transferred to us? Bai Yu asked doubtfully. No. Hearing that, Yi Zichen shook his head. Look at whose loan follows the crystal, it definitely follows the person. The loan is definitely backed by Lion Hong, so we can use it with a clear conscience. How about we stay for another 99 days, and then give him the empty crystals? Good idea. Meng Luo raised her hand. I agree. I think so too. I agree. Hua Jianrou also raised her hand up high. When he finds out, he might be furious. Then I'm afraid we have a huge grudge with Lion Hong. Bai Yu said. So be it. Little Bai, aren't you angry? Hua Jianrou glared. How bad is his father? He nearly caused you to fall into the abyss. It wouldn't be too much for us to harm someone like him. I just can't do it. If I had the power of a supreme being like your dad, then I would directly crush the Sky Lion Overlord to death, alright? He actually dared to covet my precious sister. He's seeking death. That's right. Xia Kiki also nodded angrily. Although she didn't know who the Sky Lion Overlord was and didn't know much about Lion Hong, she clearly heard what Hua Jianrou said. She felt that the Sky Lion Overlord had an extremely bad character. But that Lion Hong beat the great god. Why did he get injured instead? The flame rat asked in confusion. Yeah, why did he get injured? Hua Jianrou glared. Why, Meng Luo also tilted her head and looked over. Actually, Yi Zichen didn't really understand all this, he just had a rough guess. Immediately, the crowd saw him take out a crystal. I think it's because of this. Isn't this a point crystal? Hua Jianro immediately recognized it. What does it have to do with point crystals? I don't know why, I feel like. Yi Zichen shrugged. I got this crystal from the nine-faced overlord and placed it here. How many points? I haven't seen it yet. Hurry up and take a look. Everyone's eyes were filled with curiosity. Yi Zichen also raised his hand and instilled cosmic energy into it. When the number appeared, F***CK. We're rich. Chapter 28:18. Judgment Palace. Several men and women desperately swam back and forth in the vast ocean. Outside the vast ocean, Zhuing was biting on a straw with 2 lemon slices in it. She lay on a beach chair and watched everything. Is this all you've got? I'm very disappointed. Zhuing muttered softly. The moment she said that, the men and women who swam back and forth in the ocean seemed to have heard the whispers of a devil. In a situation where he was already at his physical limit, he swam even faster than before. Heh, that's more like it. Seeing this, Zhu Ying's eyes seemed to reveal some satisfaction. She leaned back on the beach chair and used the parasol to block the sunlight above her head. With such a scene, who would have thought that this was actually the Judgment Palace, not the beach and ocean of Earth? This cold lemon drink is not bad. Zhuing bit on the straw and muttered. As if she felt that the cold lemon drink was not cold enough, she lightly tapped the air with her finger. Several ice cubes of the same origin suddenly appeared in the air. They landed precisely in her cup. The pleasant coolness made Zhuing raise her eyebrows slightly. The moment she put her hand down, a delicious iced watermelon appeared in her hand. I really have to thank Justice. If not for him, it would be hard for me to enjoy such a life. Earthlings really know how to enjoy themselves. They're obviously indigenous planets, but they don't think about improving their technology and realms. All they think about is how to slack off and be lazy. No wonder they can only be indigenous planet. But it's really pleasant. Sneering, Zhuing revealed a face of satisfaction. Lady Zhuing, they've already swam back 20,000 times. On the beach, a waiter with a towel walked over. This person looked very similar to Zhu Yunsan and Zhu Yunshi. Really? Zhuing raised her eyebrows in surprise. As expected of a king-level expert, those indigenous people on Earth can't even make a 50-meter turn more than 10 times. They've actually swam back 20,000 times in the ocean I set up for them. The waiter lowered his head and didn't speak. As Zhu Ying's personal waiter, he knew very well. He knew when to speak and when not to speak. Now wasn't the time for him to speak. Seal their cosmic energy and make them return 10 more times. Zhuing narrowed his eyes and muttered, Zhuyuni, keep an eye on them. Tell them that whoever is the first to return here and become the champion will be rewarded with a heavenly god tool. Heavenly god tool? Zhuyuni was stunned. What? Are you interested too? Zhuing squinted at him for a moment. Zhu Yun pursed his lips and lowered his head. This subordinate also wants to. Then let's go. Zhuing did not mind and said, It's the same no matter who you give it to, but don't bully them too much. Our ancestral dragon clan is still very fair. Seal your strength to the king level as well, and then fight with them without using any cosmic energy. Lord, please seal it. I'm not interested in doing this. You deal with it yourself. Zhuing shrugged. I believe in your self-awareness. Yes. Zhu Yeni nodded and carefully placed the towel on the beach chair. Soon after, he hurriedly ran to the beach and began to stretch his body. A bunch of servants, Zhuing smiled coldly. Even her personal bodyguard, Zhu Yuni, was mocking her. They weren't born to be heroes, but they are rather greedy for things. So what if they have more? Aren't they still servants who can die with a single thought? Zhuing muttered softly, then couldn't be bothered to look forward anymore. Lord Adjudicator, I'm Zhu Yunqi. Can I come in? Zhu Ying, who was lying on the beach chair, spoke in a very nonchalant tone. Come in. Then, a pitch-black door opened in the distance. It was the gate to the Royal Adjudicator Palace. A young man in silver armor walked in front of Zhu Ying. When he arrived, he took off his white gloves and knelt down on one knee. Lord Adjudicator! What is it? Shouldn't you be patrolling outside today? Zhu Ying muttered. You told us that there's new information on Yi Zichen. Speak. Zhu Yunsan has already brought Yi Zichen into our ancestral dragon clan's level 3 city. They are currently staying in a local hotel. During this period of time, they had a direct conflict with the trial taker, His Holiness Lion Hong. His Holiness Lion Hong was injured. Zhu Yunqi reported. They have points? Zhu Ying frowned. Yes, that is also the reason why this subordinate rushed over, Zhu Yunqi replied. They went to the Heaven and Earth Trading Company to obtain the storage items left behind by the Nine-Faced Overlord. Nine-Faced? Zhu Ying frowned, while the pleased expression on her face instantly disappeared. How many points did she leave behind? Is there 1,000,000? Zhu Ying had always known about what the Nine-Faced Overlord left behind. She had also guessed that the Nine-Faced Overlord definitely had a lot of points. She didn't want Yi Zichen to get too many points. Even if it was 900,000, she still told Zhu Yunshi to retrieve it. She didn't mind if Yi Zichen took out a loan. The points left behind by the Nine-Faced Overlord. She had actually forgotten about this matter. Yes. The moment Zhu Yunqi said that, the cup in Zhu Ying's hand was crushed. Send someone to contact them and retrieve their points. We definitely can't let them have more than 50,000 points before entering the school. As for how to retrieve them, I believe you should know. Don't do something as stupid as Zhu Yunshi. This subordinate understands. The silver-armored knight, Zhu Yunqi, replied. Do you know the exact amount? Zhu Ying, who laid back down, asked subconsciously. Zhu Yunqi hesitated for a moment. 2,000,000. Boom! Instantly, a huge crater appeared on the beach. Sand filled the sky. Zhu Ying stood in midair. When the sand and stones were about to land on her, they would suddenly disappear. So annoying! At the town hotel. We're rich! Everyone in the room exclaimed when they saw the number on the crystal. A whole 2,000,000. Even Yi Zichen was shocked when he saw that. What's going on? The Nine-Faced Overlord actually left 2,000,000 points here. Yi Zichen had thought that what she left here was something that she couldn't spend. A few 100,000 was already the most she could spend. 2,000,000. Let's stay in the hero suite. Meng Luo pursed her lips and gulped. 2,000,000 points is enough for us to stay here for a long, long time. What are you thinking about? Bai Yu patted Meng Luo's head. Although 2,000,000 points is a lot, we don't know how long we're going to stay here for, so it's better to use the points sparingly. Look at me. Right at that moment, Xia Kiki secretly took out a crystal stone. On top of the crystal stone there was a number of 20,000,000. I picked it up on the ground. I think it fell from a bag on the table. Chapter 28-19. Everyone fell silent. Instead, Su Yan coughed. She looked at Xia Kiki, who was still pouring cosmic energy into the point crystal, and tugged at her. What is it, Susu? Su Yan shook her head, then glanced at the crystal in Xia Kiki's hand. Xia Kiki instantly understood and dispersed the cosmic energy. The number on the crystal disappeared. In that instant, everyone in the room let out a sigh of relief. After a brief moment of silence, they exploded. What did I just see? 20,000,000? I didn't count incorrectly, did I? I think it was 20,000,000. Did the Nine-Faced Overlord leave this for us? I'm not sure. Everyone subconsciously looked towards Yi Zichen. To be honest, Yi Zichen was confused too. He looked at the bag on the table. It was indeed the bag used to store the Nine-Faced Overlord's belongings. It was originally a box, but Yi Zichen switched it to a bag. It was more convenient to carry it. Because the ancestral Dragon Clan cities couldn't use cosmic energy, life was like that of Earth, which had no cosmic energy at all. That meant you couldn't store things in a spatial storage device. What's more, they'd already handed over their equipment to the ancestral Dragon Clan. Carrying the box was too cumbersome, so Yi Zichen switched it out. But before that, he'd already taken out the point stone, the one in his hand. He didn't remember there being any other point stones. What's more, the nine-faced overlord didn't have to use 2 points to store their belongings, did he? Most importantly, the true number on the credit stone in his hand was 2076643, with a round number of zeros. But Xia Kik's point stone was 20 million. In comparison, Yi Zichen's point stone seemed more like something the nine-faced overlord had left behind. On the other hand, Xia Kik's point stone. Kiki, where did you find this point stone? Yi Zichen asked. It was on the floor. Xia Kiki pointed at the ground in the room and said, When you guys were looking at the points, I felt like a stone had touched me, so I looked down. Then you saw it. I was curious about how many points there were, so I poured cosmic energy into it. Then you saw it. 20 million points. Everyone saw it with their own eyes. In other words, you're not sure where this crystal came from. Yi Zichen muttered. Is that bag that rolled out? Not necessarily. Yi Zichen shook his head. I took out the point stone when I came back. I don't remember there being any other point stones inside. You said it yourself that it rolled to your feet. I suspect that this was given to you secretly by the seniors of the ancestral Dragon Clan. Yi Zichen felt that the possibility was very high. There were seniors of the dragon race in the ancestral Dragon Clan, so Xia Kik's identity as a dragon was practically transparent. Even though she did not expose herself when she came to the ancestral dragon tribe, the live broadcast at that time had already exposed her identity. The elder overseeing this place might have some way of knowing what was going on outside. After learning that Xia Kiki was a dragon, he secretly gave her a point stone. A senior of the Dragon Clan gave it to you? Meng Luo exclaimed. Ah! Xia Kiki was also a little confused. It can't be. If the senior of the Dragon Clan really wanted to give it to me, wouldn't he have just given it to me directly? About that. Yi Zichen let out a sigh. We'll have to start from what Lu Erjie said about the status of the senior in the ancestral Dragon Clan. The senior might not have a high status in the ancestral Dragon Clan. However, our statuses are rather special. I suspect that Zhu Yunshi, who took our points, was actually instructed by Zhu Ying or some other hero. They don't want us to have points. But the senior doesn't want Xia Kiki to suffer. Since he can't openly defy the hero's decision, he can only use this method to secretly help Xia Kiki. When the others heard this, they were all confused. This sort of explanation sounded reasonable, but when they really thought about it, it was a bit strange. However, within this strangeness there was also some logic. So you're saying that the senior came? Xia Kiki ran to the window in surprise and looked outside. By now, the ancestral Dragon Clan had already fallen into darkness. It was pitch black outside. They couldn't see anything. Don't look. Even if he came, he's long gone, said Yi Zichen. But Xia Kiki frowned in confusion. But Xia Kiki still frowned in confusion. Then why did the senior give me so many points? Could it be that he wants me to live a better life here? Maybe it's for you to live better. Kiki, how about staying in the hero's suite? You're so rich. That's possible. Yi Zichen rubbed his nose and muttered. I believe everyone has noticed the ancestral Dragon Clan. Everything here requires points. Points are the only currency used here. Regardless of accommodation, travel, or food, everything is the same. The senior of the dragon race wanted Xia Kiki to live comfortably here. Or rather, even if it's not luxurious, at least it wouldn't be too hard. That's why he took out 20 million and gave it to Xia Kiki. Given the senior's status, it's not like he can't afford it. No matter what, he has already stayed here for countless years. But, Yizichen's tone suddenly changed. I feel like the senior of the dragon race did this to ensure Keek's safety. Safety? Su Yen frowned. The dragon race's status is special, so the universe isn't very friendly towards them. Didn't Tianhai say it before we came? Although he said it in a rather euphemistic and idealistic manner, there is still danger? Yizichen replied. But what does points have to do with safety? Su Yen didn't understand. Do you still remember my fight with Lion Hong? Everyone nodded. Lion Hong, who was stabbed in his sore spot, attacked Yizichen angrily. However, none of his attacks landed. Instead, he was the one who was heavily injured. Under the situation where they couldn't use the universe's energy, everyone could only engage in physical combat and clash of strength. As a lion man, Lion Hong should have an advantage in terms of strength. Even Yizichen trained his body. Humans against lion men. But they couldn't achieve an absolute victory. This was the fairness of the universe. It gave humans smart brains and gave beasts strong bodies. Back then, when he attacked me, I had to form an energy barrier around me. I don't know why. Now that I think about it carefully, I feel like it has to do with the points I have. Chapter 28:20. Points were everything in the ancestral dragon clan. With enough points, you could do anything you wanted here, and fulfill any wish you wanted. That was something Zhu Yunsan had told him. As long as you had points, there was nothing you couldn't do here. On the other hand, without points, you couldn't do anything. From the moment they entered the ancestral dragon clan, all of their equipment had been taken away. Under the suppression of the universe's energy, it could be said that everyone had set off together. For example, if you were a king-level expert in the universe. But since there was no universe energy here, and you couldn't feel the existence of the universe's laws, your king-level advantage was gone. All you could still have was a king-level physique and genetic enhancement. Suppose you were a controller when you were alive and didn't train your body. Then you might not even be as good as a body cultivator in the universe. That was because all of your advantages lay in your comprehension of the universe. But there were no laws here. On this basis, how could Yizichen create an energy barrier when he didn't have any magical artifacts? The more he thought about it, the more he came up with. Yizichen made a bold assumption. If he viewed the ancestral dragon clan as a game, then points were the wealth the people here had. The level of one's wealth determined the level of one's status. If you had high wealth, you could obtain everything you wanted and do anything you wanted. As for those with low wealth, they could only live a lowly life. As a person with high wealth, it was only natural that he would receive better treatment. Simply put, those with low wealth could not attack those with high wealth. Yizichen was like Lion Hong. Yizichen had 2 million points left behind by the nine-faced hegemon, while Lion Hong only had 100,000. The difference in wealth was 20 times, so Yizichen had no right to provoke someone with high wealth. The price of provoking someone was to be punished by the barrier created by high wealth. When everyone heard Yizichen's analysis, they found it hard to believe. Wealth. People with high wealth were not allowed to be provoked by people with low wealth. Actually, this can be tested. Who's willing to be my lab rat and punch me? Yizichen looked around the living room. If he wanted to prove the truth of his theory, all he needed to do was punch him. Although the others in the living room were skeptical of this idea, if what he said was true, they would suffer a backlash. The women would definitely not choose to make a move. Besides, what if he was injured? Their hearts would ache. At this moment, Aylin, who had been quiet all this while, walked out. Her eyes showed that she wanted to try. You want to try? Yizichen shrugged. Sure, come. Actually, Yizichen was very confident in his philosophy. Although Aylin was a duke, his universe energy was sealed, and he didn't have any wealth. His attacks couldn't harm Yizichen at all. He took a few steps back. At the same time, he signaled Aelin to charge up her power and throw a full-powered punch at him. Aelin really didn't hesitate. She clenched her right fist and stared intently at Yi Zichen's chest. No! However, just as the two of them were about to carry out the experiment, Hua Jianro, who was standing behind them, walked out with a frown. She lifted her leg and kicked the flaming rat's butt. "Flame rat, you go!" "Ah!" The flame rat that was kicked away had a blank expression on its face. "Why did I let him attack? How could I let Aelin attack? He's a duke. If Yi Zichen's guess is wrong, he will definitely be heavily injured in one punch." Hua Jianro frowned. "Flame rat, you attack. Your strength is similar to Yi Zichen's, so your full-powered punch counts as an attack, and you can see the effects." Hearing that, Aelin thought for a moment, then nodded and retreated. "That's right. What if the Lord is wrong and I kill the Lord with a single punch?" All of a sudden, everyone's gaze landed upon the flame rat. Why do I have to go?" The flame rat felt a bit wronged. If it really is as great deity said, then wouldn't I get a backlash? He trusted Yi Zichen a lot. The moment Yi Zichen said that, the flame rat already admitted that it was true. He had also seen Lion Hong's terrible state. He didn't want to end up like that. So what if it's backlash? Isn't Su Yan here? If you get injured, then let her heal you. Hua Jianro said. How can she heal me? Her cosmic energy has been sealed. The flame rat widened its eyes and said, Why don't you come and try? I believe what the Almighty said. We are female. Hua Jianro glared at the flame rat. How about this, flame rat? I'll give you this point stone and I'll beat you up. When Yi Zichen took out the crystal, Hua Jianro quickly stopped him. No, what if you get injured by the backlash? Flame rat? This was too much of a double standard. You're afraid of the Almighty getting hurt, but aren't you afraid of me getting hurt? Yi Zichen, you're the only one with crystals. Hua Jianro said, Why would you give it to the flame rat? It would be fine if you crippled it, but what if you get bitten by it? Also, flame rat, why do you have so much to say? Just give it a try. Even if you're injured, it won't affect our team much. Just lie here and recuperate. Heartless. The flame rat listened to Hua Jianro in a daze. What do you mean I won't affect the team much? When he looked towards his cousin, Bai Yu, he saw that she had the exact same expression as Hua Jianro. She also looked towards Meng Luo with the same expression. Yi Zichen also shrugged towards the flame rat apologetically. How about we try? Yi Zichen smiled. You don't have to hit too hard, we're just doing an experiment. As long as you hit a bit lighter, the backlash shouldn't be too great. Sure, I'll try. The flame rat clenched his teeth and stared at his female colleagues. I've memorized their appearances. The flame rat clenched his right fist and let out a deep sigh. Almighty, I'm coming. With that, the flame rat punched towards Yi Zichen. It seemed very fierce, but he actually held back his strength. When he punched Yi Zichen, there was no effect. The energy barrier was not activated. No, the flame rat blanked out for a moment. Is it because we're in the same team that there's no effect? I think that's definitely the case. Let's find someone else to try tomorrow. Bullshit, your fist is for massaging, right? Is it an attack? Use more strength. Hua Jianro shouted. Then if you injure the Almighty, can you still injure him? Go ahead and hit me with all your might. Hua Jianro urged from behind. Yi Zichen nodded. Let's try again, use a bit more strength. No worries, don't be afraid of injuring me, I was a body cultivator before. Then I'm coming. The flame rat clenched his fist and charged forward once again. This time, he used roughly 20% of his strength. The fist landed. Yi Zichen was still unharmed. I'm telling you to use more strength. Hua Jianro directly shouted. Can you use a bit more strength? What are you afraid of? Could it be that I'll die instead? Yeah, flame rat, can you be more like a man? Meng Luo frowned. I'm not like a man. The flame rat instantly frowned and clenched his fist. Almighty, don't blame me, they forced me. I'm coming. Boom! A deafening explosion sounded out in the hotel. Chapter 28-21. A deafening voice resounded throughout the hotel. It was as if the entire town had heard the voice. The lights in the darkened town were all lit up. Sir, may I ask what happened? When the hotel staff ran over to ask, Yi Zichen, who blankly stared at the situation in the room, quickly replied. It's nothing, just a fall. Alright, let me remind you, do not fight in the hotel. If there is any damage, you will have to pay for it. The staff reminded. I understand. Yi Zichen quickly ran to the side of the flame rat after telling the staff to leave. Flame rat, wake up. This time, the flame rat used all its strength. In other words, he had used 200% of his strength. If Yi Zichen's guess was wrong, then that punch might have seriously injured him. Unfortunately, Yi Zichen's idea was true. The instant the flame rat punched, Yi Zichen's surroundings seemed to sense danger. He instantly condensed an energy barrier around him. The flame rat's fist landed on the barrier. A huge reaction force was imbued into his arm, and his whole body flew out. He fell heavily onto the wall and fainted. Let me do it. At this moment, Su Yan ran over and placed her palm on the flame rat's chest. Su Yan, there's no cosmic energy here, you. Before Hua Jianrou could finish, a wisp of green light appeared in Su Yan's hand. This. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? Didn't the ancestral dragon clan seal all the cosmic energy in the city? Why was Su Yan still able to use healing light? Could it be that she could feel the energy of the universe? Under the infusion of the healing light, the unconscious flame rat coughed violently. He raised his hand to cover his chest as if he was in great pain. Flame rat, Hua Jianrou and the others all went over. The moment the flame rat saw her, it turned its head to the side. Hey, don't be angry. Knowing that the flame rat was angry, Hua Jianrou squinted her eyes and smiled. Sister will give you a massage. Don't be angry. Let me blow on it for you too, Meng Luo said. There's no need. The flame rat was about to push them away when Hua Jianrou's face darkened. Don't go overboard. It's just a test. Aren't you safe and sound now? Do you have to do this? Flame rat? What kind of tone was that? Could it be that he was in the wrong? I can't be bothered with you. Get up and tell me how you feel. Hua Jianrou hugged her shoulders and retreated. The flame rat, who had wanted to pretend to be angry, was stunned. What did he do wrong? Wasn't he the one who was injured? Why was it Hua Jianrou who was angry? What was going on? For some reason, he missed what his father had told him. Women were the hardest to understand. The flame rat silently twisted its neck twice and stood up with a helpless expression. Perhaps it was due to the impact of the energy. When he stood up, his legs were still a bit weak. Fortunately, Yi Zichen supported him in time. The great god's idea is correct. When I attacked him, there was indeed an energy barrier that countered my attack by several times. I was hit by this kind of backlash, Yi Zichen said. He fainted. The flame rat pouted and shrugged unwillingly. Seeing that Hua Jianrou didn't seem very happy, she apologized to her again. Sister Hua, I was wrong. Don't be angry. It's okay. I'm not good either. Hua Jianrou rubbed the flame rat's head. In that case, the wealth that Yi Zichen mentioned does exist. If that's the case, it's possible that the 20 million points were given by the Dragon Clan's elders. That's right. Baiyu muttered to himself. With 20 million points, Coco's safety is guaranteed. Since that's the case, let's leave these 20 million points to Kiki. Let's split it. Xia Kiki, on the other hand, generously took out her point stones. Let's each get 2 million. That way, no one will be bullied. Otherwise, how can we not have any points? No. Baiyu shook his head. The Dragon Clan's senior naturally has his reasons for giving you 20 million points. Perhaps he thinks that only these points can ensure your safety. If you think about the worst, then this might not even be enough. That's all he can give you so that you have the ability to protect yourself. Don't touch your points. As for our points, we'll talk about it later. Yeah, Kiki, say it properly, Meng Luo said. But there's a problem right now. Hua Jianrou rubbed her chin with a frown. If points are so important, then wouldn't we be invincible if we just took a loan of several hundred million? The prerequisite is that you have to have something that can be used for a loan, Yi Zichen replied. It's impossible for you to get a loan for no reason. You definitely need something as collateral. For example, the equipment that we just entered the city. Then I have a lot. Meng Luo raised her hand. When she came, she had thrown out several hundred divine artifacts and primordial divine artifacts. All of them were used to defend against enemies. If she could exchange them for points, then she could use them as collateral. Don't. Yi Zichen shook his head. The Heaven and Earth Trading Company isn't a good place, it's a scam. No matter what, Lion Hong has the Sky Lion Overlord as his dad, but he only took a loan of 100,000. You can imagine how much they will pressure him to get a loan from the Heaven and Earth Trading Company. It's best not to get a loan from them unless it's absolutely necessary. I have some business. The pitiful flame rat raised its hand. Why did I wake up so quickly? I would have been unconscious for at least a few days from the shock. All of a sudden, everyone looked towards Su Yan. What? Su Yanjia saved me? The flame rat raised its eyebrows. Su Yan, how can you use the healing light? Hua Jianrou asked in concern. You can use the energy of the universe? How did you do it? Share it with us. It might be effective for us as well. She can't. At that moment, Yi Zichen let out a long sigh. She can't use the energy of the universe either. Then she. Before Hua Jianrou finished, Yi Zichen suddenly bit his finger. A stream of golden blood flowed out from his finger. Great deity, your blood is golden, Meng Luo pointed at Yi Zichen's finger. Meng Luo pointed at Yi Zichen's finger. We saw it last time as well. Senior Tianhai told us that your blood is red. That's right, I have golden blood. Yi Zichen let out a sigh. Yi Zichen let out a sigh. Su Yan, Kiki and I all have golden blood. You guys should know what golden blood means. Golden blood represents the god race. The three of us are all gods. Chapter 28-22. Some things couldn't be hidden even if they wanted to. Disregarding everything else, Yi Zichen had forcefully used his godhead's power to save them during the Second Universe's purge. When he'd been gravely injured, he'd bled with golden blood. Meng Luo and the others had seen it all. Although Tianhai had warned them to remember that they'd seen red blood, in their hearts, Yi Zichen's entire body was covered in golden blood. If they really wanted to investigate, they'd find out who those with golden blood really were. As expected, when Yi Zichen said they were gods, aside from Meng Luo, the others weren't too surprised. It was as if they'd known all along. If there was one thing they were slightly surprised about, it was that Su Yan and Xia Kiki were gods. Furthermore, the ancestral dragon clan's universe didn't contain any cosmic energy. How could Su Yan still use healing light? So long as someone investigated, they'd think of the possibility that they were God. This sort of thing couldn't be hidden at all. Rather than let Meng Luo and the others think about it, it was better to be honest and say it directly. To the others in the group, Yi Zichen trusted them completely. Gods. Meng Luo blurted out as expected. Just as she was about to scream in panic, Hua Jianrou covered her little mouth with one hand. Do you want them to die? Whoa, that's right. Meng Luo hurriedly covered her mouth. She naturally knew what sort of situation gods were in. She'd shouted so loudly just now. The others in the hotel might have heard her. God. It was not as simple as the Dragon Clan. The human race's priority on hunting gods was extremely high. The Society of Supremes had already made an announcement that hadn't been taken down yet. One of the rules was that anyone with clues to the god race had to report it to the Society of Supremes. If their information was confirmed, they'd be rewarded with a national weapon. Moreover, the people in the universe also targeted the Protoss as their prey. If Yi Zichen and the others' identities as gods were exposed, it would bring disaster upon them. The entire room fell silent out of fear. A few minutes later, after confirming that no one else had come, Bai Yu retreated from the door. Meng Luo pursed her lips carefully. "Why aren't you surprised? We knew long ago," said Hua Jianrou with a shrug. "Yi Zichen, I hope you can understand. Golden blood is indeed a bit special in the human race universe, so I checked it out when I returned. But you also know that I only know about it myself. I didn't tell anyone about your god race identity." "Me too. Me too." Bai Yu and the Flame Rat nodded. Only Meng Luo creased her brows. "You guys are wrong. Didn't Amami-senpai tell us to remember that the Almighty's blood is red? None of you listened." Meng Luo pointed at Hua Jianrou and the others angrily like a little lion. She really did listen to Tianhai's words. After returning, Yang Kai did not mention anything about the golden blood and even forced himself not to think about it. If Yi Zichen hadn't brought it up today, she might not think about these things for the rest of her life. He didn't expect that Bai Yu and the others would secretly investigate after returning. Hua Jianrou revealed a helpless expression. Perhaps only a naive little girl like Meng Luo could be so obedient. "I really didn't investigate anything. You guys didn't tell anyone about the golden blood either. You guys are too much." Meng Luo frowned firmly. "You guys really are something." "It's fine." Seeing that Meng Luo was about to get angry, Yi Zichen hurriedly patted her head. "It doesn't matter whether you investigate or not. I also believe that you won't expose our identities. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said all this to you." "All right then." Only then did Meng Luo reveal a slightly understanding expression. After calming Meng Luo down, Yi Zichen spoke up. "That's the situation. Su Yan can use healing light because of her godhead. It has nothing to do with the energy of the universe. You guys said earlier that her life force is pure. It might be due to her godhead as well." Hearing that, Bai Yu nodded. "That makes sense. That makes sense." There was a rumor among the human race that the human race was actually a branch of the god race. Many of the human race's abilities, their comprehension of the universe, and their healing abilities are all weaker versions of the god race's abilities. That's why, back then, when the human race had a certain level of strength, they chose to slaughter all the gods of the god race. Why was that? Wasn't it because the god race posed an absolute threat to the human race? No matter what it was, their comprehension of the universe, their martial spirits, their healing abilities, and perhaps many other abilities, the human race was on a lower level compared to the god race. The human race's ambitions made it impossible for them to bow down to anyone. So, when they had the power to shake the very foundations of the god race, they chose to get rid of the thorn in their side. Just like how the human race treated the ancestral dragon clan. Since the ancestral dragon clan had the power to keep the human race in check, the humans of the universe pointed their spear at them. Even though the human race was in such turmoil, when they found out they could keep an eye on the ancestral dragon clan, not a single person objected. This was the human race. A race of absolute ambition. They wanted to rise above all others. Before they had enough strength, they knew they had to learn how to endure. But now that they had the power, they'd instantly shed their disguises and retaliate fiercely against those who threatened them. We know everything now. In any case, don't expose your identities as God race members, and don't ever use Su Yan's healing light again. Bai Yu's expression was solemn. There are definitely plenty of people who can guess all of this. If they suspect anything, the higher-ups of the human race would rather kill wrongly than let them off. That's what I wanted to say as well. Yi Zichen muttered. Fortunately, they were in the hotel. If they'd done this in front of others, the problem would have been even more serious. The position of Milky Way Lord could protect Xia Keek's identity as a dragon. But he couldn't protect his identity as a god. The ones who wanted to touch the god race were the adjudicators, who stood at the peak of the universe. "I'll be careful," said Su Yen. Yi Zichen nodded. "The matter with the god race ends here." Yi Zichen pursed his lips. "Right now, the most important thing is to figure out how to get more points." "That's right." Meng Luo nodded. Everyone knew that the number of points they had would affect their position in the ancestral dragon clan. Hence, everyone wanted to have more points. But how did they get them? It was still a mystery. Chapter 28-23. The problem of points. Yi Zichen wasn't particularly anxious about this. He guessed that there was someone even more anxious than he was. He just didn't know if she knew about Keek's 20 million points. Even if she didn't, she should know about the nine-faced overlord's 2 million. She wouldn't even let him have 900,000. 2 million. She'd be as anxious as a cat on a hot tin roof. Over the next few days, Yi Zichen and the others enjoyed themselves in the ancestral dragon clan. They learned about the local culture and customs. They tasted delicious food. They visited quite a few landmarks, as well as the scenic spots recommended by the locals. To put it simply, it was enjoyable. "I can't take it anymore. I can't walk anymore." Meng Luo sat on a bench by the street. She held an ice cream in her hands. She complained that she couldn't walk, but her little tongue wasn't idle at all. She was licking the ice cream. The others sat down to rest as well. Even Winnie sat on the bench and patted her legs. There was nothing they could do about it. The ancestral dragon clan couldn't use universal energy. As experts of the universe, they'd long since gotten used to this. Even if they were to walk normally, with the existence of cosmic energy, it could very well reduce their burden and relieve the soreness of their bodies. But now, not anymore. Every step they took required physical strength. Although Winnie was a duke, she was still a woman. Her delicate skin couldn't take it. Aylin was the only one who was still standing not far away like a model soldier. She was doing her job as a bodyguard. "Easy, don't you find this place a bit familiar?" Su Yen, who was sitting on a bench, muttered. In contrast to Meng Luo and the others' pure physical strength, Yi Zichen and the others were all gods, so they didn't feel as tired as Meng Luo and the others. "Are you trying to say that this place is like Earth?" "That's right." Su Yen nodded seriously. "In the past few days I've noticed that this place feels like the 80s or 90s of our world. What's more, the food here is vastly different. At most, there's a bit more variety." I have that feeling." Yi Zichen smiled noncommittally. "What are you guys talking about?" Meng Luo, who'd always been a curious baby, joined in the conversation as expected. "This place is a bit like my hometown." Yi Zichen didn't try to hide anything. In fact, on the second day he came here, he already had such a feeling when he saw the people here eating fried dough sticks and soybean milk in the morning. At that time, it gave him a misconception that he was not at the ancestral dragon clan, but his home planet, Earth. Over the next few days they toured the town. This feeling grew stronger and stronger. "This place looks like the Almighty's hometown?" As Meng Luo exclaimed, the others also looked over. "Is your Earth so backward?" Hua Jianro opened her mouth almost instinctively. Immediately after, she realized that her words might not be very appropriate and hurriedly changed her word. "Don't overthink it, I don't mean anything else." "Ha ha ha, it's nothing." Yi Zichen smiled calmly. "Actually, it's not wrong to say that we're backward. My parents are very backward compared to the universe, whether it's in terms of technology or the level of the universe. I won't hide it from you. More than 10 years ago, the technology on my parents' Earth was only 0.5 civilization, and they did not even enter a level 1 civilization." "Are you serious?" Upon hearing this, Hua Jianro was stunned and said, "Your civilization level is so low, then how did you get into the universe?" Spaceships can only be made by a level 2 civilization. Fuel for long-distance travel can only be mined by a level 3 civilization. Also, your civilization level is so low, yet you actually became a general? I'm the Master of the Galaxy's student. Yi Zichen shrugged helplessly in response to Hua Jianrou's surprised question. My teacher left behind a fortune for me. As for the spaceship, it was actually something I got Bailey to assemble for me at the former site of the Milky Way after I came out from the dark spot in the Milky Way. As for when we first met, I was only at the domain level. As he spoke, Bailey puffed out his chest proudly. That's right. It was I, the great Prince Bailey, who brought this kid from planet Saturn into the universe. Oh yeah, Yeezy. You mentioned the Master of the Galaxy's fortune just now. You don't seem to have gone to collect the things the Master of the Galaxy left for you after you reached the star system level, right? You're already at the general level now, so you can collect a lot. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen's expression tensed up. Yi Zichen nearly forgot about it. Ever since he came into contact with the second universe, he was able to do very well in it due to his secret art. So much so that he didn't really care about the Master of the Galaxy's gift. Now that Bailey mentioned it, it really has been a long time since he received the Master of the Galaxy's gift. The Master of the Galaxy's gifts were of different levels. Every time Yi Zichen broke through a large realm, a new gift would appear. Wait a moment. Hua Jianrou didn't care about the Master of the Galaxy's gift. She only cared about one thing. You were only at the domain level when we first met? Yes. In other words, you went from the domain level to the general level in less than 20 years. That's right. You. Hua Jianrou was already speechless. Going from the domain level to the general level in less than 20 years? Isn't that a bit too ridiculous? Even if it was her, it had taken her decades to do so, and that was with the support of her clan's resources. Perhaps this is what it means to be a genius. Yi Zichen shrugged. Heh! Hua Jianrou merely laughed coldly in response. Don't get too full of yourself. In terms of true geniuses, I've seen people go from the domain level to the general level in 3 years. You're still far from that level. How much? 3 years. Yi Zichen opened his eyes wide. That's right. Hua Jianrou seemed to be very satisfied when she saw Yi Zichen's shocked expression. I think it's been less than 3 years. Yi, can we talk about something serious? Don't you find it strange that the ancestral dragon clan is so similar to Earth? Su Yan frowned. Did they go to Earth? I'm not sure. Yi Zichen had asked Zhu Yunshi if they went to the Milky Way galaxy when he took out the fruits from Earth. The answer was naturally no. He wasn't too sure if they really went to Earth, but he was sure that they definitely understood Earth. Don't think too much about it. The Milky Way galaxy's defenses are rather tight, and Earth is the core area. I'm guessing that they found out about this somehow and purposely did this to mess with us. Yi Zichen comforted as he thought of a possibility. But this sort of lifestyle doesn't seem like something that just started. Su Yan pursed her lips. Su Yan pursed her lips and said, On the way here, I noticed that they've long since gotten used to this kind of life. What's more, do you remember when I asked the auntie in the wonton shop? She replied that it's been like this since she was here. This means that this place has maintained this lifestyle for at least 500 years. Chapter 28-24. When faced with the problems of the Milky Way, everyone in the Milky Way cared a lot about it. This wasn't limited to just Yi Zichen's group. Yin Shang, the great sage, anyone in the Milky Way, or even experts from Earth, the immortal planet, or the God planet, cared deeply about everything that happened in the Milky Way. This was a sense of responsibility and respect for their parent. It was also something they'd once lost. After regaining it, they realized just how precious it was to have a parent. When they went to the wonton shop, Su Yan seemed to casually ask the woman's age. The ancestral dragon clan seemed to have a very shallow understanding of age, or rather, all the humans in the universe were like that. because they all had an endless amount of time. It might be fine if they were 100 years old, but they could tell if they were 200 or 300 years old. But after a bit longer, they might not even be able to remember. When Su Yan asked this question, the woman thought about it for a long time, then gave an ambiguous answer. She said she'd lived for more than 500 years. 500 years. In other words, even before Earth entered the universe's sights, this place had already maintained this way of life. Then didn't that mean the ancestral dragon clan knew about Earth a long time ago, and they'd been spying on everything there? Or perhaps this was how they'd always lived. Then why was it so similar to Earth? Let's not think too deeply about this. Yi Zichen rubbed Su Yan's head. Yi Zichen thought for a moment, then caressed Su Yan's head. I know you care about our parents a lot, but there are some things that can't be resolved just because we care. What kind of strength did they have? They weren't even titled. The ancestral dragon clan was a race that even the 8 great lords of the human race couldn't make rash decisions about. No matter how much Yi Zichen and the others thought about it, what could they do? Even if Zhuing was standing right in front of them, blatantly telling them she'd spied on Earth a long time ago. Even now, there were ancestral dragons living on Earth. What could Yi Zichen and the others do? Ask her why she'd done this, and still get her people to leave? None of them. In the face of absolute strength, the title of Milky Way Lord was more like an empty title. If you truly wanted them to look you in the eye, you needed equivalent strength. What's more, life here had been like this since ancient times. Earth and the ancestral dragon clan might have some sort of connection, or perhaps some sort of similarity. But what could they do? Could it be that they could still explore the truth? Even if he wanted to explore, he would need to have enough strength. In this way, the problem returned to the beginning. Strength. These people came to the ancestral dragon clan to learn, because they did not have the strength. In this way, he could enrich his own abilities and make himself stronger. If they had the strength, why would they come here? Even if he was here, he should be imparting knowledge to other students and not as a trial taker, right? In that case, what was the point of considering the connection between the ancestral dragon clan and Earth? Other than adding to his worries, it was of no use. I am. Su Yan pursed her lips. In the end, she didn't say what she wanted to say. She could actually understand Yi Zichen's thoughts. She knew that Yi Zichen understood what she was thinking. However, when he thought about it, he realized that Yi Zichen was right. They didn't have the right to care about that. All right. Yi Zichen caressed Su Yan's long hair, then sniffed. He really liked the smell of Su Yan's hair. Before she became the goddess of life, the fragrance of her hair had a refreshing feeling. After becoming the goddess of life, this feeling became even stronger. Actually, this isn't too bad. At the very least, living in a town like this is much more comfortable than living in those high-tech buildings. Yes, yes, yes. Wang Mengluo always agreed in a very positive tone. I think so too. Living here is really comfortable. I'm sick of those high-tech buildings. I'm much more comfortable here. Comfort is no reason for you to slack off. Yi Zichen knocked Meng Luo on the head. You're the one who complains about being tired the most out of all of us. If you want to go on an adventure in the future, it'll be much more tiring than it is right now. You should train yourself well and get moving. I'm not going on an adventure anymore. Meng Luo instantly sat on the ground and whined. When she thought back to how tiring it was to fly into the ancestral dragon clan, she lost all interest in exploring. How could an adventure be as comfortable as lying down? Wasn't life supposed to be comfortable and happy? She used to think that the life of an adventure would be happy, but ever since that long journey, she realized that it wasn't happy at all. In that case, why was she so obsessed with staying here? Why was she so unhappy lying down? Why did she have to suffer? You can't not explore. Even if you don't want to explore, I do. Yi Zichen grinned. You can't hold us back. I don't want to. Little Meng Luo shook her head like a rattle drum. Even if you don't want to, you have to move. Meng Luo knew that he was joking, so she shook her head as she sat on the bench. The atmosphere in the group became much warmer. Shortly after, Bai Yu pursed his lips and muttered, "It seems like we've used quite a lot of points these past few days. Not bad. I spent about 50,000 yuan in 3 days." Yi Zichen poured cosmic energy into the crystal and looked at the numbers. He still had 1.95 million points left. The points consumed were all for daily expenses. It was mainly used for food. Meng Luo was a foodie. Whenever she saw a new delicacy, she would always want to try it. This kind of consumption won't do. Bai Yu furrowed his brows. We're not sure if they'll provide us with dorms in the future. I feel like it's more likely that they won't. 50,000 for 3 days, and we only have 2 million on hand. Without any income, this won't be able to support us for long. That's true. Yi Zichen rubbed his nose. The consumption of points was indeed a huge problem. I still have 20 million here, Coco whispered. You can't touch your point stones, Bai Yu shook his head. What's more, what we're facing isn't the problem of how many points we have. It's the problem of not being able to replenish our point. If we continue like this, then no matter how many points we have, there will be a day when we run out. That is indeed a problem. Hua Jianrou nodded. That's why. I have a small thought. Bai Yu pursed his lips and stopped. Lil Bai, just say what you want to say, Hua Jianrou said. Everyone else also looked towards her. Bai Yu also pursed his lips and spoke in a testing manner. I think. How about we open a shop here as well? Chapter 28-25. Open a shop. When Bai Yu voiced out her thoughts, she was dumbfounded. 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 No one would have thought that. Bai Yu wanted to open a shop in Ancestral Dragon Tribe. The others might be fine, but the one who was most familiar with Bai Yu was her best friend, Hua Jianrou. She couldn't understand it no matter what. How could Bai Yu make such a decision? Did she, who had been pampered since young, know the meaning of opening a shop? She wanted to put a question mark on this. Little White, are you all right? Hua Jianrou rubbed Bai Yu's head and muttered, she looks normal. She doesn't have a fever, so why is she talking nonsense? Could it be that the effects of the alcohol from last night in the river have not subsided? This won't do. Quick, 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 bring her back to rest. As she spoke, Hua Jianrou pulled Bai Yu's hand and walked out. She even muttered along the way. What's going on? Little White started to talk nonsense. I've never seen her like this before. Is her life too stressful? Is she crazy? Hua Jianrou's monologue was so thorough that Bai Yu frowned and retracted her hand. What are you doing, Hua Hua? What are you talking about? I'm telling you to go back and rest. Hua Jianrou's eyes were filled with worry. Don't you remember what you just said? Open a shop. Yeah, so let's go back and rest. You don't believe me? Inexplicably, Bai Yu furrowed his brows in displeasure. She stared at Hua Jianrou, who was not far away, her eyes filled with unhappiness. Seeing Bai Yu like this, Hua Jianrou sighed. No. Little White, opening a shop isn't as simple as you think. I opened one before. Bai Yu frowned. Back on Planet Een, I opened a doll shop. Business was good back then. I'm very business-minded. The doll shop was opened by Bai Yu when she was young. Back then, she felt that opening a shop was very interesting. Moreover, she loved dolls when she was young and envied people who could open a doll shop to have so many dolls. Her father saw that she liked it and let her open one too. Business was surprisingly good. You had such an experience? Hua Jianrou was stunned. Yes. Bai Yu nodded his head seriously and said, Back then, I even opened a branch of my toy store and business was really great. If we open a shop, I'm confident that we can earn more points. Faced with Bai Yu, who was full of confidence, Hua Jianrou couldn't say anything and could only remain silent. However, she couldn't really let Bai Yu persevere. Little White, there's something you need to understand. You are the daughter of the fire god. I know, I don't feel ashamed. Bai Yu replied seriously. It's not a matter of shame. Hua Jianruo wanted to say something but stopped. She was afraid that if she said too much, it would hurt Bai Yu's pride. Little White, have you ever thought about why your business is so good? Business sense. Back then, you were still young. Did you know what business was? You don't deny that your business is booming, but have you really thought about why your business is so booming? Isn't it because of your identity? A shop opened by the daughter of the fire god. As a resident of Planet Een, anyone would visit your shop, right? Think about it carefully. Isn't that logical? Hearing this, Bai Yu bit her lips. She acknowledged this logic. However, she didn't like the feeling of not being able to do anything at all. Su Yan was a god. She could use healing light. Xia Keek's Dragon Race Senior gave her 20 million points. However, Bai Yu's universe energy was sealed here and there were no laws here. She couldn't even use God Fire. She didn't want to be useless. Also, Little White, opening a shop isn't as simple as you think. If you really want to open a shop, you need to consider the location. I saw it. Bai Yu immediately said, when we were playing around these few days, I noticed a few shops. There's a lot of traffic there, and they're very suitable for opening a shop. Alright, what about the rent? Hua Jianruo continued to ask, do you know how much the rent is? Or how many points are needed to buy that place? What business do you want to do after buying it? Do you have the supply? Facing Hua Jianruo's questions, Bai Yu remained silent. It seemed like she really didn't have any. She wasn't sure either. Opening a shop isn't something you can do on a whim, Hua Jianruo sighed. This isn't Planet Een. What if you lose money doing business? Wouldn't that just make things worse for us, who aren't rich to begin with? Bai Yu pursed her lips and lowered her head. During this time, Yi Zichen kept an eye on Bai Yu and Hua Jianruo. To his surprise, he realized that Bai Yu was also an extremely strong-willed girl. She seemed very steady normally, but deep down, she was still a little girl. On the other hand, Hua Jianruo was usually carefree, but she really was worthy of the role of big sister. She was more mature than the others. Of course, she would also get hot-headed at times. To be honest, this was the first time Bai Yu had ever made a request. She wanted to open a shop, and it was for the sake of the entire team. Yi Zichen really couldn't bear to refuse her. Hua Jianruo's consolation seemed to be effective. Yi Zichen couldn't bear to see Bai Yu, who was drooping his head. Lil Bai, don't be unhappy. I'm doing this for the sake of the team. Let's find a way to earn points later. How about we reconsider opening a shop? Hua Jianruo asked in a testing manner. But Bai Yu didn't seem to be willing and immediately bit his lips as he muttered. Alright. Don't just open it. At that moment, Xia Kiki suddenly smiled. I also think that opening a shop is pretty fun. I've always wanted to open a shop. How about this, Bai Yu? I'll invest and you manage. Let's just open a shop. No. Bai Yu shook her head. You definitely can't use your points carelessly. What's more, my idea was rather thoughtless. I didn't even consider what Hua Jianruo said. Let's talk about opening a shop later. That's fine. Xia Kiki could feel Bai Yu's sadness, so she intentionally said that. She didn't think that points were that important. What was important was everyone being happy was good. Just open it. Just as they were in a stalemate, Yi Zichen let out a sigh and smiled. We do need income as well. Opening a shop is a pretty good choice. Of course, we can't use Keek's points carelessly. We still have more than 1 million on hand, almost 2 million. I think it should be enough to open a shop. Bai Yu, I support you. Let's open a shop.